Team and driver, they got the strategy bang on. They didn't have the pace, but the pit stops were amazing. The timing and the execution all round got them to almost a race win out of nowhere. And I don't think, even though we've seen it so many times, I don't think they'll be able to do that every time against two McLarens, two Mercedes, possibly two Ferraris. They're going to need a rear gunner at some point, and so that's why they need Checo to step up. And doing a 14-lap run on a hard tyre at the start in outside of the top 10 is not really what they're signing us.
And radio check in turn 12. There's a big queue ahead of you, like 6 cars yet to open a lap.
Yeah, I need that information a little bit earlier next time.
I will do.
Okay.
Mercedes at this track in 2013 had a lot of pace over one lap in that season, and that was previously a long wait for a victory after he joined that team. Compared to the last 2 years, though, special scenes at Silverstone. A team looking to turn.
Targeting minus 18.
So very oversteery. Could you just check the diff entry, diff mid? But it's in line with expectations.
Yeah, I'm just outside the garage of Oscar Piastri. Hopefully you can hear me. They've just fired the engine up. A bit of a delay in getting Oscar Piastri out. You can see him at the back of the garage, getting his balaclava on, getting his helmet on. But there's been quite a lot of work being done to this McLaren. The bodywork of the side pods and the engine cover all off the car. It's all being put back on now. Worth mentioning that the McLaren is the only team out of all of them in this pit lane not to have brought any upgrades of any sort, whether that's circuit-specific, cooling, or indeed performance. But a slight delay here for Oscar Piastri. We'll see if we can get a team line on what is going on, but looks like he'll be heading out very soon.
Thank you very much, Laura. I tried to turn the ComBox button on, failed. Tried to do it again, failed. So thank you for a hit that was better quality than my attempt.
How are the brakes still, Kev? Are they still poor?
Terrible, yeah, really bad.
Copy that.
Just no bite and in different, pretty big difference between left and front, left and right front.
Copy.
Norris, George Russell's on an outlap. Valtteri Bottas, who's always qualified in the top 10 here for his 10 most recent appearances, finds himself in third in the order. Sauber searching for their first points of the season. It's gone on longer than they would have wanted, but they had an amazing qualifying performance here last year. Both cars in Q3. Joe Guan Yu with his best ever Formula 1 qualifying result with a 5th place. Yes, it melted in the opening few metres of the race, but a wonderful one-lap performance. We're looking at some cooling alterations, Sam Collins.
Well, that's an unintended cooling alteration on the Sauber Just Edge. I was looking at something else and Jolene just jabbed me in the shoulder to take a look at it, because...
Suggestion, right-hand toggle, turn 12 to 14.
Okay, that's good. Looks like the rearview mirror isn't working perfectly there either, but it looked like the Sauber had gone out. That's a new set of cooling maneuvers on the side pod of Zhou's car. Not the big upgrade package we'll look at later on Bottas's car, but it looks like that's got far too hot, and there's actually that 3D printed part has actually started to melt into the side pod, so that's a pretty fundamental cooling problem there.
Thank you, Sam. Parts melting.
Just be mindful of those surface temps in Sector 3 opening the lap.
Been on pole position around this circuit before. George Russell took his maiden pole position around here. Completely different conditions to what we've got this weekend. It was unseasonably cool back in 2022. All the focus on Lewis Hamilton then, and it was Russell who came up with the lap that put him at the front of the field. He's taken pole positions as well this season, and Mercedes have found themselves back into contention. It is a car that traditionally...
How are the brakes still, Kev? Are they still poor?
Terrible, yeah, really bad.
Copy that.
Seat's nice though.
Okay, that's good.
On pole with Russell in Montreal and had a shot of winning, which they didn't take, but it was obviously nip and tuck. It was to the 1,000th, wasn't it? The exact same time, Mercedes and Red Bull in qualifying. Silverstone was a huge step of progress for them in very cool temperatures. on Saturday, they had the front row lockout on a track that they didn't necessarily think would suit them for the fast corner.
There's some understeer in turn 2.
Okay.
And some traction issue.
Russell won the race, but it was by virtue of Norris and Verstappen's contact. And they weren't miles adrift for the most part of it. And I think this track will suit them more. You mentioned Russell's pole in 2022, but Hamilton had a pole in 23 here as well, his last pole position. So I think, even though it's very hot, it will cool slightly over the next couple of days, just slightly, which might help them out a little bit more as well. And I think you've got to consider them big contenders, just from their previous couple of seasons here. And their car is in a much better window than it was 12 months or 24 months ago generally. So the progress is there to see. Cooler temperatures, they'd be licking their lips on, but even warm, I think they're going to be thinking they're in the fight. Speaking of which, that was a bit of a fight there.
Yeah, Lando Norris with the changed crash helmet for this weekend and fighting the car through 12, through 13 and bailing out before he got to 14. This is DRS down to turn 1 for Joe.
I've got those things coming up on my sideboard. Something else just came up on the left.
It's gone full melty there by the look of it, and you can see the mechanics working on that section of car. I think they've actually changed that whole cycle, because that cooling louver that we saw that was melting in on itself, well, look, there it's gone. So is that Sauber going to be undercooled for the rest of this weekend, and they're going to struggle to keep that car alive, keep that Ferrari power unit under the bodywork going all the way through the rest of this session? Because these track temperatures, I have looked it up, 70 degrees centigrade, which I think is 158 of those Fahrenheit things, is what you need to cook an egg on the pit lane. So about another 10 degrees we need for Laura to be able to make us breakfast on the pit road.
Thank you for looking that up, Sam. We've got an answer to the egg question, at least. As we have 48 minutes to go, Max Verstappen's been out there on the soft tyre. Then it's Russell, Hamilton, Norris, Bottas, Leclerc, Albon, Ricciardo, Tsunoda and Gasly completing the top 10. As we focus on one of the members of the strategy team there on the Red Bull.
I've got those things coming up on my sideboard. Something else just came up on the left.
Strong in recent times, and Oscar Piastri, a contender to win the British Grand Prix last time out, leaves the pits on medium tyres.
So those laps on the side of the screen there, that's like for like in terms of lap count for pretty much all of the main runners there. Obviously, Perez hasn't done anything meaningful. We saw him with an aero ray comp. Piastri's just leaving the pits there. And so they're major players that are yet to put on anything meaningful, as is Carlos Sainz back in the pits in the Ferrari, having just done an out once past and back in. But everyone else has done a couple of flying laps. Verstappen's on a soft tyre, along with Perez, who's back in the pits with his aero ray. Red Bull are the only team to run a soft at this stage. Most, as you can see, have gone for the medium. And that's an encouraging opening gambit from George Russell. Bottas just comes.
Okay, so box, Alex, box. I will just take it steady in the pit lane just to try to help track position and pit exit.
Obviously in a decent window, straight out the blocks.
So getting up and running for the 13th Grand Prix weekend of the year, Oscar Piastri with 2 podiums. And see stats there on the board, very consistent. McLaren are the only team to get both cars into Q3 all season long. That updated car means that the focus is...
I guess I had a bit of zap in turn 12. Turn 11 was quite big, so...
Yeah, correct.
Glass half full.
Yeah?
I mean, that's the sort of content that would normally trigger Jolyon Palmer.
Well, let's just think about the mistakes that they've made. Silverstone, there were a couple. Firstly, there were 2 rounds of pit stops, or 3 if you're Charles Leclerc. They avoided the big mistake that Leclerc and Perez did, which is good. But they were gambles really from Leclerc and Perez further down, chancing their arm, and it backfired into anonymity in the race. Then you have the first round of pit stops, where Verstappen nailed it. Sainz also nailed it, brought himself back in towards contention as well. McLaren and Mercedes, with 2 horses in the race, didn't get the optimum stop, but Mercedes covered their backs on the next one, doing a double stack, where McLaren compounded that by sending Piastri round for the extra lap. So it was a double mistake from McLaren, and it ruined Piastri.
Same gear, fifth gear for both.
What gear they're using? Fifth gear or sixth gear?
Different mistakes at the British Grand Prix, which is good news in response to Piastri's comments, but there were a lot of them.
Do you think McLaren should have tightened up quicker? Do you think this is just the nature of being not fully competitive for a long time and then suddenly wins are on the table every single week? Is it understandable that it's taking them time to sharpen up to, say, a Mercedes and Red Bull have been winning week in, week out for basically the last decade?
I think they have small team mentality still in the strategy stakes. Overall, the drivers and the team are quick to point out they've probably been the most consistent performer in the last handful of races. Probably since Miami, they've been the team that have been in contention to win every race. With, if you consider Piastri in Monaco was hot on the heels of Leclerc. Red Bull were a little bit distant. They were distant as well at Silverstone. Norris, predominantly, has been in contention to win all of the last races since Miami, apart from Piastri in Monaco, yet they've only won one of them. And I think Canada was another time where it was hard to get the strategy right. They were unlucky with the safety car in Canada, but if they were better, then they might have executed it right. And again, it came down to communication. But for me, they're a team that are so busy looking at what the other teams are doing. And the last pit stop with Norris in Silverstone was the perfect example. All they were thinking of was covering Hamilton or covering Verstappen.
Yeah, the car kind of turned itself on braking. So high-speed braking, turn 1, turn 2, turn 11. And then I got Micon on the steer later on, so
okay.
not the best.
Okay, understood. We'll have a look at that. Feel that rotation is kind of end of brake or at peak?
Yeah, it's from peak, from high speed.
Yeah, okay, understood. Okay, we've got Albon pushing behind 4 seconds. Just need to let him through.
But I think there's a lot of looking around rather than being decisive on their own strategy. Spain was the difference, where they had a fast car with Norris on pole position, and he lost the place at the start, and they were trying to do something to make up. And I don't think there was anything better they could have done in Spain personally, but certainly Silverstone and a little bit Canada, victory's gone. And I think it's the mentality thing, I would say, for McLaren that needs to change.
Fascinating to see whether they can make progress. You were looking at Charles Leclerc fighting the car out of the penultimate corner of the racetrack, really fighting it with opposite lock as he tries, another driver trying to just leave this tough run behind. The best day of his motor racing career in Monaco is followed off by retiring from the Canadian Grand Prix, an anonymous 5th place in Spain, and then non-scores in Austria, contact to that first turn of the Grand Prix, and then gambling on the conditions at Silverstone. But seems a lot calmer in the interview pen yesterday. Seems to have accepted that you're going to get blips in the 24 race season, and looks to try and contend this week at a racetrack that has medium speed and slow speed corners, where Ferrari have traditionally always been strong no matter what year we have been in. And here's a former winner around this circuit, one of his most spectacular trips to the top step in mixed conditions back in 2014. Daniel Ricciardo going up against Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso coming out on top on one of his most satisfying wins, I'm sure. And he is trying to find himself into the top 10 with lots of chatter going on about Red Bull's driving options. We go on board. We've got the gyro cam as we make our way to turn 5.
Nice chance to have a look through the middle sector then, on board with Daniel Ricciardo. Through the low speed chicane, turn 6 and 7, and then it's a sequence of corners come flowing one into another, 8 and 9. using the curb on the exit, flat out through turn 10, which can be sometimes tricky in the wet. We're not expecting that this weekend. Really quick through 11, and now we're into the final sector. Slow speed corners, stamp on the brakes. Penultimate corner at turn 13. A lot of drivers have been struggling with the rear so far. We've seen Norris, we've seen Leclerc fighting it. Ricciardo had a little bit more stability then, and then you can attack into this final corner that's long, medium speed, and run the exit through and up into the top 10 for Daniel Ricciardo.
Medium tyre run, marginally behind his teammate's effort. His teammate who has a contract for next year. And behind...
Okay, let's watch out for Joe's car behind. So we'll box this lap.
And with 3 laps to go, having taken the lead earlier that year in Canada for his maiden win, with a few laps to go, did the same thing in Budapest. Always seems to be a box office day when Daniel Ricciardo is winning. Not the aim for the RB team. And let's go on board with George Russell. And led over 20 laps.
Yeah, that was pretty strange. Big snap entry 11.
We'll have a look at that.
George Russell reporting that Yuki Tsunoda wasn't taking in the full view of the car behind. We go on board with Charles Leclerc, who's dipping into that gravel trap that's been added to the thin gravel trap like we saw in Austria. That's been added to the exit of turn 12.
Nice to see. A little bit of gravel there. Used to be usable runoff with track limits could be in place. Very slippery in the wet. But now with that gravel, hopefully we won't have any issues with that at turn 12. Generally, a lot of low grip. Drivers struggling on the medium tyres. Leclerc was on the hards in the Ferrari. FP1, of course, the track will only rubber in from here. Should get better and better, but the high temperatures, the tyres, you get to these final corners and you've had so much stress through them, through those left-right sequences from the low-speed chicane, building the speed up through turn 11.
Yeah, problem is, especially 5 and 12, the reel. If I brake hard there, I lose the reel.
They're flying laps just to try and give the tyres a breather.
That's the sound of the V6 turbocharged engine for Zhou Guanyu, who is descending down the hill now. You can see the bumps of this circuit. It is a circuit that joined Formula One in 1986, and it has hosted so many races, a mainstay on the calendar. Traditionally, for so long, the last race before the summer break. It's been swapped with Spa for the last couple of years. It retakes that position in next year's calendar. So this will be the last stop before we get to the summer break in 2025. But Spa next week, magnificent venue in a week's time as we focus on Zhou Guanyu making his way through. You can see the track map there on the right-hand side. And he's heading to turn 12 with that gravel track that Charles Leclerc has been flirting with so far this session. This used to be a chicane in the old original layout, and then it was simplified. There's a few alterations been made to this place since it first joined the Formula One calendar. Pit straight was made a little bit longer 20 odd years ago. As you see, Joe fighting the car through turn 14, stands on the power now, completes the lap, and where does it put him in the order? Up to 14th place.
Bottas still flying high in the top 5 in the other Sauber. Sauber, you mentioned it before, a team that will be having some hopes, I think, for this weekend. They have been so in the doldrums recently. Started the season not complete.
So obviously, you know the targets, that it's not really helping to achieve them, but make sure the tire's ready.
Bottas there with an encouraging start for them in the first half an hour of this one.
Bottas in the top 10 for the last 10.
The car is quite shocking to drive right now.
Unhappy feedback for Lance Stroll.
Yeah, he's not trying to soften that blow, is he? There was when Kevin Magnussen came on the radio earlier, Mark Slade asked him how are the brakes. He said, "Oh, brakes are terrible. Seat's nice though." It was a bit of, you lose some, you win in the other. Whereas Stroll, yeah, looking not very compliant over the curbs there for Stroll in the Aston Martin.
I love looking at that. When you see all the different parts of the car, you see the tyres flexing, you also see all the other parts of the car flexing and wobbling around. Engineering has to develop the car to be able to withstand that over a full Grand Prix distance. They don't always get that right, and that's what sometimes causes reliability problems. The other thing, that feedback from Lance Stroll there, saying the car's pretty horrible, well, that's the heavily...
The car is quite shocking to drive right now.
For Stroll at least, and that's been the story of Aston Martin's season, a bit like Ferrari. They've bought new parts of the car, well, they haven't worked, so there's a bit of head scratching going on at Silverstone, as there is for this team.
Yeah, talking of which specification floor they would run, you really cannot afford an update that doesn't work. Even VCARB showing us in Spain, if you bring the updates and you can't get them to work out of the box, it just deletes a Grand Prix weekend for you. We saw that for them in Spain, and Ferrari left behind after winning the Monaco Grand Prix, after winning the Australian Grand Prix with this man earlier in the year, after reliability problems for Max Verstappen. Ferrari slipping back, Ferrari finding themselves the fourth fastest team on recent form coming into this weekend.
Carlos Sainz going third on a hard tyre. They are hoping for a little bit more competitiveness this weekend. Sainz, that's an encouraging lap for them. I've never known a season that you see small upgrades, or the upgrade war, making such a big difference in the pecking order as this year. We know it's a long season. This is the longest ever, 24 races. And from time to time you see small gains, small losses. Occasionally you see big gains, which was McLaren last year, and big losses, which was Aston Martin last year. But generally the pecking order often stays roughly the same. But I think because the pack is so condensed right now, you look at some of the Q1 times. And
we can think about closing the tools for the last two corners from our side.
And therefore, if you win a 1/10, you change your weekend from being tail end Charlies to being in the fight maybe for even points in Q2 and yeah, trying to get there. Or you're Ferrari, you miss a beat and you go from being the plucky underdogs fighting Red Bull to being actually a little bit of drift, fighting for 5th and 6th. You're McLaren or Mercedes, you hook it up and suddenly you're there. It's nice to see. And with more races coming on the calendar, 24 races, this upgrade battle is only going to become a more crucial battleground. Because when there were fewer races, you start the year with a good car, there's less time for anyone to make up that deficit. Whereas with 24 races, we mentioned we're 12 races in, but we've still got 12 to go, and Red Bull flew out the blocks. Might not be able to see it through plain sailing.
Put Sam Collins on the spot here, which I'm sure he'll be delighted with, mid-conversation. Sam, can you remember a season where that phenomenon has been more extreme, to Jolene's point, of the updates feeling absolutely crucial between wiping out your weekend or maybe leaping you forward into contention? Like we saw, Hulkenberg liked the update for the Haas, back-to-back 6th places, his best results, his best back-to-back results in 2018. We're on board with the Haas of Ollie Behrman at the moment. Do you remember a more extreme update sensitivity season?
Putting Haas to one side, because I'll explain why in a second, the answer to that is no. I haven't seen a season where upgrades have been so unpredictable, whereas teams bring big packages and they just don't work. Haas is the exception to this. They've got multiple examples. I remember one season when the cars were painted black and gold. They developed the car through the beginning of the season and it went slower and slower and slower. They took all of the upgrades off, put it back at this launch spec car, and it went quicker.
Yeah.
And that's where the upgrades are overrated comment from Günther Steiner came from. Well, Steiner's comments sort of do echo in my ears for a lot of the teams up and down the grid at the moment, in that a lot of teams aren't getting their upgrades to work with this generation of car. One team that is making it work very well is McLaren, and I think a lot of teams are looking at McLaren going, how are they managing to make what we can't work? And Ferrari have struggled. They had to put their car back into an older specification. Haas have got their upgrades seemingly working at the moment. We'll see how Behrman finishes this lap, but it is a tricky one. And as the regulations are coming to the end of their life in the end of next season, the amount of effort teams put into upgrades now starts to reduce in how it's paid off. And the wind tunnel allocations are a big factor in that, though it doesn't make a great difference until the 1st of January. But in the 1st of January, they're all going to start working on 2026 cars. They just need to understand why their data isn't doing what it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's an intense battleground. As we see Behrman come through, new set of softs, leap up towards his teammate for the session, Kevin Magnussen, within a tenth. That's a decent effort then from Ollie Behrman in a mini quali sim. Effectively, on a soft tyre, might have another chance on another lap if they'll hang on for another on those softs. It's such a battleground. It's one thing having upgrades on the car, it's another thing getting them working. And that can transform your whole season so quickly.
Oscar, it looks like we have quite a lot of front ride height available, but my plan is to leave that alone and prioritise time on track.
Yeah. Off the back.
Former Enstone employee.
Technical director
Calls
left
on
the Grand Prix Sunday.
Well, it's tough.
Head of aerodynamics is out, and you're thinking, what on earth is going on here with this manufacturer team? Fast forward a few races, and they got back-to-back double points, and they're coming on strong. But then Haas can add some performance, and they're now getting the point scores, big double points for them in Austria. Just each weekend, if a team can make an upgrade work, it really is transforming their seasons.
We're going to have a deep dive into this in the pit lane in a few moments' time. First of all, fastest lap of the day from George Russell, about to be put on the board, a 1:19.137. That was using the soft tyres. He goes ahead of his very good friend, Alex Albon. It's Russell, Albon, Verstappen, Piastri and Bottas. Talking of upgrades, let's send it to Aston Martin.
Thank you very much, Alex Jakes. Before we do get into that, I just want to say how hot it is down here in the pit lane. You haven't got a breeze on your face. The sun is so strong, and I've been enjoying this cooling outlet here. You have to stand on tiptoes to get to that one. And they've also got a massive fan in there, which I've been enjoying. But on to Lance Stroll. Look, the last radio message we heard was that the car is feeling absolutely shocking. As Sam mentioned, Aston Martin will not be wanting to hear that, considering this is a heavily upgraded Aston. We're going to get Heath on camera here in as much as we can as the team work around Lance Stroll sitting in that car. Just to remind you guys, it's a new front wing, halo mount, floor, edge and front, diffuser and lower beam wing. So Sam, just talk us through those upgraded parts and what you think may be not quite working out for Stroll in this Aston Martin at the moment.
Well, Aston Martin have pretty much revised the car from front to back. We've seen some front wing changes coming in over the season already, and some of those have been pretty minor, some of them a little bit more obvious, and they've got a new front wing on again this weekend. But for me, the most sort of notable upgrade that you can see on the car is actually around the rear of the halo, where Aston Martin have been looking at Ferrari's homework quite a lot, I think. And if you remember, at the start of the season, Ferrari had a little sort of, I call it a flying buttress, but if you're not into the architecture of churches, it's a little sticky over bit at the rear of the halo mounting, as we just see a bit of somebody's car. I wonder if that's a Sauber being collected by a marshal out on track. Well, those sections are something that Ferrari introduced, started at the start of the season. There we see the missing bit of floor. It's from Williams. It's the front edge of Alex Albon's floor. That's going to cost a huge amount of downforce. But you can also see on the front end of the Aston Martin here, you can see that cooling duct behind the number 18 for Lance Stroll. Aston Martin have played around with that. With these high temperatures, they've got no real alternative. Then there have been some changes around the front brake cooling, because well, it's hot, so you're going to do that anyway, but it also has a knock-on effect further down the car. The biggest changes, though, for Aston Martin, the rear of the car, the engine cover, the shape of the side pods. They've been playing with that quite extensively.
I think the tire, I could never get it cool.
As we see a little bit of bodywork making a bid for freedom from the Williams.
Was it a buttress?
A flying buttress.
Flying buttress.
That sounds like the nickname of a very religious driver.
I mean, it is an ecclesiastical term. It's the bits that stick out of the side of a cathedral and go back down that look a bit like the bit on the Aston Martin.
The flying fin takes on the flying buttress.
Lando Norris is making his way through 6 and 7. Yep, I've googled it. Sam's on the money. Looking at some spectacular cathedrals in the commentary box. And Lando Norris pushing on this soft tyre. Personal best sector 1, best of anyone sector 2. He's got a 10.5 to find by the time that he gets out of turn 14. You can see the language of the car. Waiting a long time. 3:13. One corner to go for Lando Norris. contender everywhere we go in recent times. A lot of hard work has gone in at McLaren, joined by Mercedes at the front of the field, and a little bit of time lost in that final section in comparison to George Russell, who remains fastest on a 1:19.137. Lando Norris splitting the Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton finds himself in third position. Alex Albon in the Williams. James Vowles saying the best people at the team are working on the 2026 car, which I'm not sure how that makes you feel if you're working on the 2025 car, but he said that ahead of the Silverstone Grand Prix. So focus on the regulation change to come is up
We've
and
got
down.
the B team on the 25 car.
Sam?
They have to be a bit careful about that, because you're not allowed to work on any of the aerodynamic surfaces of the 2026 car.
We're all in sync, so we can focus on the outlap, target 0-0. Let's work the brakes in turn 12.
Coming in, but yeah, how much you can do before the FI start going, you're not really supposed to be doing this, chaps, is a little bit of point of contention, I think, up and down the pit lane.
Have we even completely firmed up the entire regulation set for 2026 yet?
I haven't seen a full rule book.
There you go. There you go. And there is a man, by the way, who's going to be voicing any video when there is a full rule book. That's definitely a Sam Collins task. Heading his way at some point this year. Let's check in with Pierre Gasly, who is surely going to be having a better weekend in Budapest than he had at Silverstone, where he didn't even take the start lights of the British Grand Prix after a problem with the car. He spun out in one of the practice sessions as well. Had to give the car up in FP1. Not his weekend.
And he didn't really do qualifying. He was always going to start from the back anyway.
Yeah.
That's as miserable as a weekend as you can have as an F1 driver. It will be better for Alpine. I think they've got a chance this weekend. I think it should suit their car a little more. Let's see what Gasly can do on the soft tyre, which pretty much everyone is now running. And he's within a second of the pace, but that's not particularly competitive when you look at their rivals, your Williams, your VT Card there, Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda flying high in the other one, and Bottas still up in the top 10. Leclerc goes quickest in the Ferrari. They've come from the hard tyres and put on a soft, matching everyone else, and the Ferrari pace is decent for now. Fastest first and second sector for Charles Leclerc. That would be a little bit of time gone for Gasly. I did that in 2017 and wrote off a chassis.
Oof. It's a great shot. That gives you a great idea of the speed that they're carrying through turn number 4. From turn 4 to the pit lane. And Laura Winters made her way to Red Bull.
Thank you, Alex. Yes, I have. I wanted to come down and see those Red Bull upgrades in person on the car of Max Verstappen. A bit of work being done. Looks some focused work, shall we say, towards the rear right of that car. The engine cover is off at the moment. Of course, this new engine cover, resculpted side pods, revising the cooling exits for the car as well. Of course, this is extremely high temperatures here, and it's a lower speed track. So cooling is so important. And we'll wait to see if what Red Bull has done is as ingenious as it looks. But this car looking mighty impressive in person and out on track as well.
Thank you very much, Laura. Let's bring in Ruth Buscombe for the first time today. Ruth, what do you make of all of the updates going on up and down the pit lane, specifically at Red Bull as well?
Well, the Red Bull one is quite a nice back-to-back because we know that Checo is not running the upgrade, whereas Max is. So it gives us a first indication. And it does look like the car, the upgraded Red Bull of Max Verstappen is much stronger in the high speed. Checo's got a lot less confidence. And it does look like Max is able to carry about 12 kph quicker through some of those high-speed apexes. And critically, with that RB20, he is using the curbs in around turn 5. So we'll have to see how that evolves, but it does look like it's a step in the right direction.
How was the balance?
I think towards the end of the lap, the balance started to get balanced, but for sure, turn 1, 2 is quite a lot understeer. But actually, turn 5 onwards, we started to get neutral. So I think definitely we need a bit of compromise for this tyre.
Good. Copy. First car pushing Alonso 10 seconds. Okay, that's good. We'll go for a double cool down and we'll go through the pit lane.
All twisted. So the seam is like, well, I guess you want to do a launch, but this left glove I have, like the middle finger is like all twisted. It's okay.
Within 10 With Red Bull, I think it's a difficult comparison looking at Perez v Verstappen for obvious reasons, but particularly every single race that you go to, the difference in high-speed performance between Perez and Verstappen is so big. Max has got such commitment in the high speed on the same package.
And then that's Bottas just ahead of you on a slow lap, and ahead of him there's 10 seconds to Logan, and no one pushing that lap.
To help the other car? Good luck.
Oh no.
Miserable feedback at Aston Martin so far today.
Oh no. We haven't heard Fernando like that since he joined the team.
Yeah, that's bleak. Yeah, for Red Bull, let's see Perez. Let's round out this lap then. High speed at turn 11. And do you remember in Austria where Verstappen was making the difference and he got...
Don't feel anything. Let me try again.
We saw it working. It's all good.
Do that. The low speed is generally he's been better at. He's very good in the past on street circuits, predominantly low speed. This circuit has more of the low speed corners. Let's see, round on the soft tyres. Verstappen in the pits hasn't done another run, and Perez didn't improve in the final sector. Just goes into the top 10.
So Perez finds himself in 10th place. It's Sainz, Leclerc, Russell, Joe, fourth in the order at the moment, was fifth on the grid here last year. Then Norris, Piastri, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Ricciardo, and you just saw completely.
And we have 6 cars.
Stroll, so that's what they were debriefing about. Good luck is a classic, instant classic to go into the Fernando Alonso library, but it tells a story of their season so far and how things are not going to plan, nowhere near the performance that they had last year. And
We got Sargent at 6 seconds.
Charles Leclerc is a driver climbing the hill now to turn number 4. Fantastic speed taken through this corner. He's not too far away from the benchmark currently set by his teammate.
That was a new set of tyres for Perez as well, and a set of softs, put on a new set of softs, and remains a long way adrift. Verstappen has been on a new set of softs as well, but didn't complete a flying lap on it. So he now just leaves the pits once again, and we'll see if he can get a representative time on the board as a comparison to see where Red Bull are at.
When I was overtaking Kevin, I don't know, I saw a board on the right, but I'm not sure. I think it was lost of adherence, but if we can check.
Yes, it was very short and then they removed it.
In like-for-like runs do seem to be quite competitive here, but that's another team running their cars in 2 different configurations. Zhou Guanyu in the older spec car, Valtteri Bottas in the newer spec car, and I know they didn't run at the same sort of time, but Zhou is looking quite confident in the old spec car. And when he reverted to his original chassis he started the season with, he really improved his form. Now, Jolene, you mentioned breaking a chassis. How different from chassis to chassis does it feel from a driver's point of view?
Well, ideally, not at all. You maybe have sort of 4 or 5 chassis through a season. You hope that you don't need too many. You hope that, as we see Leclerc, it's a slight oversteer in the high speed, and then he's going to go way off the road here with more oversteer. So you overheat the tyres, then you're faced with another corner, and it's no more rear grip. You hope that you don't really require new chassis through the season. Typically, you test in 1.
And we'll have blue 6, position 1.
Possibly, you have, ideally, you'd have chassis 2 and 3 on the go at that point. We know Williams started the season on the bare minimum for far too long. And then you build in more chassis through the year as well. The idea is that there's no difference from chassis to chassis. Daniel Ricciardo changed chassis, didn't he, for, was it Miami? And Alan Permain said, look, it's not going to make a difference, but we do it because the driver has exhausted other excuses, basically.
How was the clutch target last time?
It was on target. We'll have 1 burnout this time, please.
You have a weakness in the car, a slight softness or something, and it changes the whole feeling of the car being hooked up and together, and it's very difficult to put your finger on it. So I've used that excuse in the past, and I've also sadly had the sombering reality that you have a new chassis and it isn't the magic bullet to go and beat Nico Hülkenberg at the next race. But that's the idea. Generally, you hope that there's no issues. It's if you have a big crash where you start to wonder if there's the repair work's not been great. Remember Joe ditched it in the wall very early on in Jeddah in round 2, and started from the he didn't start from the pit lane. I think he just got out in the last second of qualifying to start from the back of the grid. But if you have a big whack or two and you start to wonder why the pace is up, where it's gone, that's when you think, is there something with the chassis? But 9 times out of 10, let's go 95 times out of 100, it's not a chassis issue.
Well, one thing that you mentioned, that chassis that took a biff. I think there was an issue in Suzuka as well. They found a problem with one of their chassis. Well, Valtteri Bottas is in one of the chassis that Joe rejected now, and they swapped it back and they said, oh, it seems fine, and Bottas seems to be fine with it.
Yeah, that's a power move, isn't it, by the team? It's basically saying, look, your chassis is fine, you're not driving well. If you want to change, you can do that, and we'll put the other driver that's beating you every single time in the chassis that you're complaining about, and just show you that it's okay. Really, that's the idea of that. And
so we don't see anyone improving on the second lap on the soft tyre. So we think to go around again is a bit of a waste of time, really. Let me know what you think.
Actually, when I won here in GP2,
deceleration from the brakes, Phil 4.
13, had a bad run of form, changed the chassis. I was racing with Carlin at the time, changed the chassis for this race, and it transformed my season. I won here in the feature race, went on to win again in Singapore, was always running at the front. So I have been on the other end where you change the chassis and it is the magic bullet. So it's a dark art.
5% of the time, it is the answer. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
13 minutes to go. Max Verstappen has improved up to second place. He's split the Ferraris with a 1:18.9. Sainz still top on a 1:18.7. Getting a closer look at the Lando Norris trophy tribute crash helmet there in the McLaren. That has been a contender everywhere we've been since the Miami Grand Prix.
Okay, Daniel, we'll review this lap. We took a bit more margin braking turn 1, turn 2. Did you feel something with the car there?
No, nothing in particular. Just there was a bit in turn 1 with, I think, Stroll. So I took some margin.
Special day for him and the team. Became the 111th winner of a Grand Prix. And we go visor cap down to turn number 1. After a Silverstone to forget for the team, where they really did not look quick at any stage of the weekend, we're back at a track which should suit them a little bit better.
Yep, new set of softs for Ocon as well. So let's have a look. Visor cam, short shift coming out of turn 2, trying to keep the pin through turn 3. Over the crest and attacking into turn 4. That's where Gasly, his teammate, ran wide earlier on, and Ocon gives plenty of margin to that outside curve that is bumpy and can be damaging. Got to ride the curbs a little bit through the chicane, but you don't want to clout the bigger ones or you'll unsettle the car. Feathering the throttle, balancing your car through these medium speed corners, then you're into the fast stuff.
Okay, so all modifiers are good for as discussed. We need to make that gap to Russell. Let's go brake 4 now, please.
Short blast before you're down again to third gear for the penultimate corner. He's actually not doing so much on the wheel in terms of adjustments. So it's the sort of thing you build up more through the weekend. Once you start to work out that every time you get to turn 12, you're having a now recharge goes on as he's not going to deploy energy from the battery. That was his lap done, and on a bit of deployment there for Ocon, only 18th. But yeah, you go through the weekend and you realise that every time you turn into turn 12, for example, in the final sector, you're struggling with the rear axle. So then you can start to look at your tools. Do you move the brake map forwards? Do you lock the diff up a little bit? And you get to qualifying, and you get very, very dialed in.
Ocon just in the middle of the road. Nicely done. Guys, defend him.
So that was the lap before, and that was because he was about to do a soft tyre run. He doesn't want Russell to go
Yeah, look, and on this run, pay attention to curb turn 4 because we had some damages on Alex's car, so don't use too much curb turn 4, please.
George Russell earlier in the session had wool taped to his helmet, old school aero style. He had some wool on the crash helmet as Mercedes were assessing it. We saw that in the moment of brinkmanship with Yuki Tsunoda, or at least Will Buxton did, who sent me that image. Thanks, Will. Never misses a moment of F1 TV. The Tsar Buxton. 10 minutes to go. It's a lovely day in the UK as well, I'm reliably informed. So, commitment from William to be watching us on FP1, wherever in the world you're watching. We really appreciate your company. It's great to have you with us. And we're going to be taking you through every single moment of this weekend. Everything on track this weekend, you can watch it live on F1 TV. And you can see a replay there of Carlos Sainz getting wide on the exit of 5 and...
Ocon just in the middle of the road. Nicely done. Guys, defend him.
Now drops a wheel there and realises there's no grip on the AstroTurf and dragged fully out. So another deterrent of track limits. They're clamping down on them through the season.
They are clamping down. In F2 earlier on, going wide there got you a track limit ping. Turn 3, but something would have to go really wrong out of 2 for an F1 car to go wide at that part of the circuit. See it more in the wet than you do in these conditions. Perez has just gone up to 11th place. Max Verstappen on for a personal best.
7/10 off the pace of Sainz, Sergio Perez, but Verstappen's first proper lap then on this newer soft put him up into second. This one now, has he got any rear tyres left through the lap? Because this is where, with these hot temperatures, I'd be surprised if they stay in. Perez obviously found a little bit of pace on the second fly. Verstappen's is ebbing away on this lap, and the final sector should be where they're really cooking through this low speed.
Launch or no launch? Launch at the end of the pit lane. That's by point fender, 2 burnouts, standard.
And it is there, you can see, down towards half a second away from Sainz. So Ferrari are going to end up topping the session, and with a bit of margin. Great job from Carlos Sainz.
So Carlos Sainz, who's been on the podium around this circuit in the past, top on a 1:18.7. The story of the session, the surprise of the session, 5th place Joe Guan Yu. Which is exactly where he started the Grand Prix here last year, so maybe not that much of a surprise. But if you consider that the Sauber team have yet to score a point this year, and Valtteri Bottas is plumb last in the Drivers' Championship, it would be a very encouraging start to their weekend. He's ahead of Lando Norris at the start of this one. Norris in 6th, Piastri in 7th. Yuki Tsunoda was the only driver in the pits. He's just left right now. And so everyone's out there to get the most of the last 8 minutes of this.
Are we going to be able to get anything else?
Yep, we've got time for another time lap.
Of the car as well there for the Sauber team. Trying to get that breakthrough. The Sauber team that will turn in to Audi in 2026. They've got Hülkenberg signed. The destiny of who Hülkenberg's teammate's going to be is a real saga. It's not obvious who's going to be in that second seat.
Hülkenberg and Perez would be a great team. The old Force India teammates reunited. So the question is really, Perez has renewed a contract a few races ago for that'll see him through to the end of next year. But will he actually see that out, or will Red Bull think that they need to make a change? And again, a session like this, he's within half a second of Verstappen, but when the field is so close, which is going to be around a short lap, it's not been a very encouraging start here, if we're honest, for Checo. But he is still an established Formula One racing driver. He's having a hard time right now at Red Bull, but we have seen Gasly have a hard time against Verstappen. We've seen Albon have a hard time against Verstappen, and they've both now shown themselves to be very competent, at least midfield drivers. And there's no reason to think that Perez should be out of Formula One. He'd still be a great hire for teams further down the field, you know, with Sainz still being in contention various places, Magnussen maybe looking around, Bottas still looking around. if Perez does get dropped by Red Bull at some point, which is a big if, because technically he is contracted still there. If you're a team like Sauber, Audi coming in, Perez has had history with them as well. Started his career there. Wouldn't be ludicrous.
It's an interesting shout, I have to say, for all of the other teams, all season long. I had a vague idea of who their top choices have been. But I have to say, Sauber have been very open from the start about wanting to sign Carlos Sainz. He's taking his time, and this is a tactic that you liked from Sainz. We still don't know who's going in the second Mercedes. There's speculation about Perez. There's a seat at Williams. There's a seat at what will become Audi. There's still good options out there.
And Alpine.
Yeah.
Which has become a more enticing prospect as well, with the potential of them having Mercedes power units, and that'll boost them a little bit further up the field as well. I still like it from Sainz that he's unattached.
We think you can save a bit more in 4 and 11. We think you can
save more.
They're trying to get a Grand Prix winner, and you know, I think Sainz is in a very good place. You never know what's going to happen. Still with Red Bull as a wild card, you don't know for sure that Antonelli's going to be in the Mercedes. It seems like Sainz is not going to end up there, but maybe Alpine is a very good fallback. Possibly you've still got the Sauber/Audi option. And Williams is not yet off the table, but I don't think Sainz is too hung up on that Williams deal at this stage if it did go off the table, because you've still got the Alpine and then the prospect of maybe something kicking off at Red Bull.
It's going to be fascinating to see how long this silly season will go. Unusual to have factory seats on the table into this stage of the season. As Piastri comes around the final corner of the racetrack, comes over the line, and on to another lap.
George, we'll need more lift and coast for that warning on the dash.
Compounded tyre, it's your race compounded tyre. Along with the hard, the soft is deteriorating very quickly in race simulation. And it's one weekend warm-up. Ruth was talking us through last year's race. Only 4 drivers elected to start on the soft tyre, and it expired on them pretty quickly. Same compounded tyre from last year to this. Comparison between George Russell and Lewis Hamilton now.
And suggestion, blue B7, blue B7.
Recent race winner, and with Russell's non-score, first retirement for a mechanical problem this year for Russell. Hamilton now just 1 point behind him in the Formula One World Championship. Hamilton having taken 9 victories at a single circuit for the first time in his career in Formula One history. No one's done that before. The maximum was 8 anywhere around the calendar. He's trying to do the same thing and win a 9th here in Budapest. He continues on into the final 2 minutes of the session. So a bit of a surprise, you would have to say, in a couple of departments. The pace of Zhou Guanyu for the Sauber team, and Ferrari topping the session.
Yeah, Ferrari powered Sauber having a good run, and Ferrari themselves, the two standouts. I think for Zhou, you have the typical caveats of FP1, but for Sauber, you have to say, given all of the FP1s so far this season, they've not looked as competitive as this in any of them. So I think that's very encouraging. Even if they are running a little bit less fuel, they're trying to give themselves a bit of confidence, running in a more optimised condition. Maybe with Zhou's car, I don't know what happened to Bottas. He was flying high on the first set of tyres and obviously didn't get the most out of that second one. But I think that's encouraging nonetheless for them, at least to be in the fight at the very least. And Ferrari, I think this is a new weekend for them.
I was quite a bit warm.
Yeah, it started quite warm to open a lap. So.
Package that didn't work for them when they introduced it in Barcelona. It's a different track. It's much lower speed. Should suit them. So far, looks like it is. Very encouraging start. This is going to be a close weekend, though. It's going to be closer than this, that's for sure. Verstappen is going to be a threat. McLaren often comes strong in FP2, and then they're always there or thereabouts in qualifying at the moment. Threats everywhere. Mercedes.
Considered Albon is using DRS.
Yeah, not even in practice we can have a normal run.
He was asked, would he be surprised if Liam Lawson was promoted to the Red Bull? Lawson did a filming day, which is effectively a test day, but not on the same specification of Pirelli tyres that you would get for a Grand Prix. And he said it'd be weird if Red Bull took Lawson ahead of him. And then suddenly, even drivers with contracts are entering in to potentially other teams. Would it be weird if Liam Lawson found himself in a Red Bull ahead of Yuki Tsunoda?
Yeah, I think it would. Because they didn't want him to drive the V-carb this year. So they have Ricciardo, they have Tsunoda. Tsunoda's been performing very well. He's been slightly ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. I think it sort of would be. And Red Bull, they're pretty fluid with those two teams. We've seen it so many times in the past, whether it's Verstappen getting his promotion, other drivers mid-season getting a call-up, Alex Albon more recently jumping out of the second team up to the top team. Contracts mean nothing internally between your V-carbs, your Red Bulls. So I think naturally that'd be like, effectively someone from the C list at the moment jumping straight up to the main team. If I'm Yuki Tsunoda and I'm outperforming my teammate in the B team, I'd be pretty miffed to be usurped, I think.
I do like that he said as well, Yuki has been superbly honest since he first entered Formula One.
They get on very well, Tsunoda and Lawson. They know each other well. They obviously spend a lot of time together. I just think it's just a moment of honesty. I think it would be weird if someone that isn't in Formula One ends up in the plum drive out of nowhere.
I don't think it is that weird, actually. Yuki Tsunoda is very much a Honda driver. He's in that seat because Honda is in the back of the Red Bull, in the back of the V-carb as well. And I think it's a little bit of a challenge for the Honda car company what to do in 2026 when they put their power units in the back of the Aston Martins, but there's no room at the in at Aston Martin. So where are they going to place Yuki Tsunoda? As a Japanese company, they're desperate to have a Japanese driver on the grid. It's good for business. But a Japanese driver who's a Honda Works driver, not driving a Honda-powered car, it seems unimaginable to me.
Find out. I'm looking forward to wrapping the concept round of saying Aston Martin Honda over and over again. That's strange enough, but Formula One is an enticing prospect for everyone.
So how is Tsunoda going to get to Aston Martin? Alonso to leave? Stroll to leave? Those guys are locked in.
Yeah.
For seems to be endless amount of time, really, until Fernando may at some point call it a day, but
I don't think so.
Will they ever happen?
I don't think that's coming. He won his first Grand Prix here in 2003. Can't imagine a Fernando Alonso retirement, and we've already had a dry run.
And certainly not for the Honda collaboration coming and the new set of regulations. No chance of that. Tsunoda's, he's in the Red Bull books.
Just careful to not speak in the critical areas, please. Only where we said we speak.
Yeah, copy.
And they've got to find a place for Liam Lawson. Otherwise, other teams would be interested in Liam Lawson. He was pretty quick when he had his run of races replacing Daniel Ricciardo. After that handbrake for the Australian driver last year, Yuki Tsunoda appears to have taken it up a gear this year as well. Daniel Ricciardo has 8 Grand Prix wins to his name, which is pretty high for the grid. If you look across the board, and well, it's a luxury problem for them to have, but it's an unusual problem to have, having signed up a driver for the next 2 seasons and yet to still have this question hanging over. That's Max Verstappen making his practice start. An opening hour in stifling conditions, a session topped by Carlos Sainz.
And to be clear, Red Bull have also said this is not good enough form from that Sergio Perez is in. So they're bringing the question marks themselves, yes. Really.
Also, before I forget, you don't have to say talk or whatever, just say what to be 6.1.
Carlos Sainz, top of the pile on a 1:18.713 ahead of Max Verstappen. His teammate Charles Leclerc in 3rd place. George Russell finds himself in 4th. The shock of the session, you have to say, on season form so far. Zhou Guanyu, 5th in the classification. Then it was Norris, Piastri, Tsunoda, Stroll and Lewis Hamilton who completed the top 10. Check the tyre marks as well there on the right-hand side for the lap time that they set that tyre on. Encouraging stuff for Charles Leclerc on the hard on that evidence. And then you've got George Russell was in fourth, then Joe, Norris, Piastri, Tsunoda, Stroll, Hamilton, Perez, Ricciardo, Alonso, Albon, Bottas, Sargent, Gasly, Ocon, Magnussen and Behrman completing another one of his FP1s before he ends up in the team as a full-time driver for 2025. Well, my thanks to Sam Collins, to Jolyon Palmer, and to you for watching. Plenty of questions. It looks ultra competitive again. It's just Formula One in 2024. Let's send it to a stifling paddock and Laura Winter.
Well, our thanks to Alex Jakes and to Jolyon Palmer. And yeah, it is indeed stifling. I think it's a bit warmer here, perhaps, than it was.
We were speaking about habits, and we still see that the co-drivers nowadays still keep pushing the stopwatch at the end of the stage, just to be sure that they have the right time on their watch.
Tanak is the fastest through. 13:31.2 is 9 seconds faster than Neuville. When you consider this morning it was 20 between them. He's trying to make inroads into Sebastian Ogier's time, but now Seb is
that's 2.6 seconds fastest through so far. How was this second pass through this long one for you?
Yeah, we went for the hard tire, but very, very difficult to get it working. So, yeah, let's see. Maybe for the next stages we have more softs now, but yeah, this one was hard to get it working.
Many other changes made in that regroup in terms of the setup, or just that tire choice to think about?
Yeah, we somehow sliding a lot from the rear, so not so efficient at the moment.
So you can just glance over there to Vincent's book, and he's got obviously some sectors highlighted there.
Yeah.
On the pace notes, you can just see them kind of in neon.
It's funny because I think when I started my career, during most of my career, not so many people, co-drivers, were using some colors.
Yeah.
Not to the point, at least I was using it. And when I knew Vincent, he was using a little bit of colors, but you know, before each rally, or not this one because this is new pace note, but for example for Finland that is coming next. And Kelly has too hard on the front, so you see this is not so usual, let's say.
Yeah, we've seen it on quite a few rallies this year in particular, where the hard's being used at the front. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Old side like Ogier, and now he's using some different colors that will just give an indication about the rhythm he needs to read the pace notes. And sometimes you can use also some colors just to separate two blocks of pace notes within the same page, just to be sure that you will not read twice the same information, the same line. But it's funny for me that is colorblind to use so many colors during my world
I was going to say to you, you've mentioned before that you were colorblind, so I'm kind of surprised that you would be using colors.
I see life in colors.
You see life in slightly different colors.
In colors, yeah.
That's great. Okay, Sebastian Ogier is heading now towards the end of the stage. He's had a good, strong start to the stage. He lost a little bit of time to Tanak in the middle, but he's taken it back towards the end. As you can see here, finishing a 1/10 of a second faster. He was 4/10 up at the final split point. Looks like that was hard work in there. Get the side window open, get a bit of air into the car.
Quicker than Oit in there. How are you feeling about that second run through?
Well, it's very close, so for sure we have a different tire choice. We try to be a bit smooth in our driving.
I think coming behind you, I believe Calais got 2 hards in the front. Do you think that could be wise in this one?
I don't think he has 2 hard because he have only 1, but in the car, so I don't know. Well, let's see.
Ooh, according to have a look on the tyre scans here. For Kalle Rovanperä, he's got soft. No, hold on, that was a previous stage. Hold on, bear with me. Coffee hasn't kicked in this afternoon. According to the tyre scans, we have 2 hard compound tyres on the front of the car for Kalle. Just triple check.
You know, this is part of those kind of spying on the road sections.
Yeah,
you're gonna check the players down there.
He's definitely got 2 hards within the package, and he's got 2 hards on the car, according to the tyre scans, which are really wrong, because the tyre is scanned at the arrival control. That information comes in, so maybe Ogier thought PK meant he had 2 hards on the front, when he's only got 1 hard compound. I don't know. There's a little bit of confusion there.
Yeah, let's see what will be the result of those 2 tires on the front. But
I mean, right now, Rovanperä is doing very well. He's the fastest man within the stage. Sesks has yet to enter the stage. I will clarify that comment, because he was the fastest man through earlier on.
But for sure, I mean, the 2 next stages will have a lot of loose gravel on the surface because they are brand new. So the question to bring many hard tires was not easy to answer for all those guys.
That is Adrian Formeau extending his advantage over Elfyn Evans there. That's up to 2.2 seconds now. Formeau faster than Evans by 1.6 in this stage.
Well done, Adrian. That's the longest stage done for the second time today. It looks like you've extended your gap over Elfyn Evans a little bit more. Starting to move in the right direction, it feels, this afternoon.
Well, I think I had to switch more on the stage 4, and now I'm just on it, and I'm happy. Definitely a much better time than this morning, so it's really positive, and we go ahead. And yeah, that was a really good stage to drive, to be fair. And, that was really demanding, and that was good.
Reset now, 2 new ones to come as well. What are these next 2 like?
We stay on the same pace, but we just have to be careful for first pass and some parts of the stage.
Well done, good luck.
Good 2 stages for Formeau. Let's head to our rally leaders now, who have an advantage coming in to this stage of 3.7 seconds. So not much in it. 7.3 separate the top 3 drivers. Into the car of Espeka Lappi and Jarne Firm. They're back in 8th position overall. It didn't sound great at the end of the previous stage. They obviously, they've been struggling for grip throughout the morning, and there's no midpoint service.
Yeah.
So they couldn't make any massive changes.
No. I would say that probably the issue is deeper than that, between the confidence itself and the setup of the car. We'll see, maybe tomorrow they will find out something.
It's a great time for our rally leaders. On the board is 3.6 seconds up on Sébastien Ogier. That means Rovanpera's advantage over Ogier is 10.9 seconds.
Another few seconds quicker than Seb. I believe you got the hards on the front this time. Looking at them as well, it looks like that works. What was the thinking there with that tactic?
Yeah, probably it was quite a good choice. And the grip is not so high, but the stages are quite rough on the tires, so definitely maybe not the easiest balance to drive like that. But yeah, I just tried to take care of the rear tires a bit. Let's see what condition they are, because now will be two fresh stages, so will not be so easy, but yeah, it was okay.
Well done.
Yeah, just confirmation that obviously, you know, you had those two hard compound tyres on the front, and he went with the extra spare as well out there this afternoon. So he went with 4 soft Rovanpera, 2 hard compound tyres, where his teammates, Elvin Evans, went with 5 soft and 1 hard, and Ogier went with 4 soft, 1 hard. Tacker also with the same as Evans. Lappy and Munster setting equal pace within this stage. Those splits are obviously, you know, to the fastest, but when we're looking at the battle between Lappy and Munster, they are setting the same pace up at 12.5 kilometres. Munster behind Lappy by 8.5 seconds overall. Oh no, 8 seconds, isn't it? 8.5. Continue to watch Tacker then as he heads towards stage end right now. Remember Tacker trying to make some inroads into the time of Voigt Tanak. That's a tough job out there on any day of the week. He was setting pace, level pace with Tanak at split 3, but he completes. Actually, he's brought some time back towards the end. He was 1.1 slower than Tanak at the final split. He completes only 0.3 of a second behind. So pretty close between them on the stage, and still close between them overall. Katsuta behind Tanak by 3.7 seconds.
Tacker, well done. Still very, very close between you and Knight in the stage. How was that second run through this longest stage of the rally for you?
Yeah, a bit more aggressive, so soft tires started moving around quite early, but I don't know, it's quite, I've not seen yet about our tires, so let's see how tires function, and should be okay next 2 stages.
Don't look too bad, but still 2 stages to run. Is there any sort of concern about tyre wear with still the 2 to come this afternoon?
I think if it's okay at the moment, right now, then it should be okay.
Good luck.
He seems confident enough, with the tyres at least.
Meaning probably that the loose gravel on the next stages is quite high, and so he doesn't expect so much wear on the tires on those ones.
Second position overall for us here in Latvia. Martin Sesks and Renos Francis. Now remember, the fastest time on this stage is the time of Kalle Rovanpera, 13:27.5. Sesks is 1.9 seconds behind that time up at 12 Ks. He is quicker than Ogier there by 0.4. He's won his home event, Rally Liepaja, for the past 2 years, Martin Sesks. The first year doing it in sensational style by winning every single stage as part of the ERC. Last year he took back-to-back victories in the championship in Poland and then in Latvia at home. It's good to see him as part of the WRC over the past 2 events.
It will be really interesting to see him on other WRC events, but with a very different profile than those Scandinavian roads. And of course, I'm thinking immediately to Greece, even though this is arriving very, very quickly. But before the end of the year, if we want to see him and his pace on a different kind of surface, it will be the opportunity.
Esa-Pekka comes through the time of 13:40.4. That's 12.9 adrift of Kalle Rovanpera's fastest time. We're keeping an eye on the splits between Lappi and Munster. Munster was a 10th up on Lappi, but is losing just a little bit of ground. He's 2.7 down now at 20 Ks. But let's hear from EP.
EP, about 13 seconds off the benchmark in that one. Still not quite feeling it this afternoon. I thought you might be able to do something in that little regroup before.
I didn't hear the end of the question, but yeah, not there.
Well, assuming you tried to make some changes in the tyre fitting zone and nothing you could do over there?
Yeah, we did many things, but it still doesn't really seem to be helping. I guess it's between the steering wheel and the seat. Might be the only solution for
he's pretty hard on himself, isn't he? Okay, we're gonna have a look at a replay here. This is a Gregoire Munster moment. Oh, slide back end just into the ditch.
This ditch was quite deep, actually. Yeah?
It was.
Flat out
Lucky he got away with that.
Flat out on the throttle. This is from where the expression pedal to the metal might come from also.
Yeah, he got away with it though, good save. But the ditches are like that here, you know, they're quite steep in sectors on some of the stages. Sometimes where fast, flat out rallies, you've got nice flat lands around you. Here there are a lot of ditches. As Gregoire Munster just found. Continuing to follow the splits of Martin Sesks. He's 2.1 seconds slower than Rovanpera up at 20 Ks, and just fractionally slower than Ogier now by 0.2 of a second. So
yeah, we have the sound of...
Yeah, I was a bit confused then, but we still had the sound of Munster over Sesks as he's onto the tarmac sector. And there is Gregoire Munster. A little bit of a story to tell us from this stage.
Greg made it through identical time to Esa-Pekka Lappi. I mean, there's a bit of a damage on the front corner there? Is that just clipping one of those anti-cut devices by the looks of it?
I don't think so, but I almost went off in a slow right-hand corner in third gear. So yeah, lost a bit of time to Thierry and Safeka, but we could have get much more time if I hadn't told Thierry his boot was not properly closed before the start of the stage, but that would have been a bit not really sportive, and that's not how we are, so we rather fight it on the stage.
You're an honourable gentleman, Greg.
Thank you.
Well done, good luck in the next one.
So I think he said he told Thierry that his tailgate wasn't properly closed.
This is what I understood also, and
yeah.
But this is also kind of stories, and now we can see which tires has Cesks on his car.
Yeah, the hard and soft compound in a cross pattern.
This is the kind of story that are really cool to witness on the road section, and at least when the guys speak about it, because I can tell you that many times between the crews we had some help. Like this, you see something wrong, you're not gonna. You are sportive, man, let's say.
Of course, sportsmanship is paramount. Just a reminder of who's got what tyre-wise and where they are on the car, with the hard and the soft compound tyre.
And you have 10 seconds to memorize everything.
And we'll test you on it later. We'll be sending out digital forms to each and every one of you watching. And the prize is a dinner with Julian and Gracia, if you get it right.
Let's go for it. I even did not memorize myself, so...
Oh, we're in big trouble then, aren't we? Now, second pass, it was always going to be a difficult ask for Martins to go out and do what he did this morning with the fastest times. The drivers already have an understanding of the stage. It's swept as well, but he had previous knowledge, so there's a lot of factors. But you're still looking at these times, which are really, these split points, which are really impressive from Cesks. He completes for us then second fastest to Robin Pera. So it might not be the fastest time on the board, but he is more than holding his own here. 7.2 seconds adrift of the lead. Ogier's 3.7 behind him. He remains in second position. It's still a fantastic performance from Cesks.
I know you love it through this stage. Second fastest through again. How was this second pass?
Made a few mistakes. I think it was first moment in our life close to the side of the road. No, but otherwise was okay. A bit looking after the tires. It's getting hotter and hotter, but so far so good.
Now for everybody else, it's two new stages next. How well do you know these roads coming up?
Actually, we did part of the next one in the previous loop, so they're lying. It's not new. But yeah, and then the Kelsey, I have done one part, but I still have new places also. So keep it up. It's good work.
Yeah, there are going to be sectors out there that he's familiar with, but not complete stages like this one was. Okay, we're on board with WRC2 now. 10 points if you remember the 1, 2, 3 in WRC2. Julian and Gracia without looking.
So 1, 2, 3, Mr. Calero Vampera. 7.
No.
What do you
WRC2.
WRC2, sorry. So we have Mr. Stolberg first. Far way behind, we have Mr. McCallan. Oh, he's third. Sorry.
Correct. Who's in the middle? He's the meat in the sandwich.
And second, we have...
Finnish driver. Mikko Heikkilä.
Yeah, Heikkilä.
It does keep changing out there, and it is close, but you're right, Solberg's got a good lead. Healthy lead, 24.8 seconds over Mikko Heikkilä. Sami Päivä's trying to get into podium position. We've heard only a little bit of frustration in his voice out there today. The times just aren't coming for him.
Sometimes it's really weird. Here we hear from Solberg that he's not happy at all because the car is too difficult to drive. And he's still first with a long, big gap. And sometimes you can win a rally. I remember in 2009 we won our first Monte Carlo rally with Seb with only one stage win. So, you know, sometimes you have some kind of contradictions like this. You win all the stages and you're far away and you are still not really happy. You have to take how it comes.
Yeah, Oliver has kind of mentioned quite a few times, hasn't he, that you know, everything isn't, you know, 100% on song, but yet he does have a 24.8 second advantage. Sami Pyri is the first man to complete this one, though. Let's see how he feels this time around, because he's still within touching distance of the podium. There's a long way to go here.
Sami, Oliver's coming pretty quick again behind. How was that run for you? I understand you made a few changes, feeling a bit better this afternoon?
Yeah, we did some changes and I think it's a bit better, but I think big thing is just the road is more rutted, so there is more grip for us. So, but yeah, I'm trying to push, but I think we need to also be clever with the tires. But it's a long loop, but I mean, for the moment, I just push.
It's starting to heat up quite a lot out here. Do you think this road's going to get more and more abrasive as we go through the afternoon now?
Yeah, at least it feels like, but yeah, we need to see.
Discussion.
6.6 seconds up on Pyri. Faster than for Oliver Solberg than Sami. As we switch out to Nikolai Gryzin.
So getting dusty out here as well, Oliver. 7 seconds quicker that time than Sami. I know you weren't happy with the driving, but the time's certainly good. Any improvements in your feeling inside the car this afternoon?
No, I've been happy with the driving all day. Driving is great. I'm feeling it good, you know, but you know, feeling in the car is a different feeling. But yeah, I tried to take care of the tires very much in there, just to be clean, always stay in line. And difficult. Of course, the tires start to move. They are warm, you know. But let's see. Two long stages to go, and yeah, let's see who has the best tires for the end, I guess.
It's a nice situation to be in, isn't it? Having that nice buffer that you built up really quickly, really, this morning.
Yeah, for sure, the feeling is good, and a bit surprised that the guys are so far off, but I feel good, I drive my rhythm, and that's it.
Keep it up.
Yeah, as you said, he's happy with his driving, just the feeling with the car, not so much sometimes. What's going on at that stage? And I thought that was Oliver making that whoop noise, but it was Piquet, I think. So obviously Piquet is going through it at the stage end as well. He's having all the emotions.
He's living the action now, yeah. Living the moment.
Opening that door is hard work, Piquet. Let's take a look at the splits for you within WRC2. We've got Nikolai Gryzin 12 seconds behind Oliver Solberg, final split points. Josh McAleer 2.8 seconds off the pace of Solberg, up at 17 Ks, and Nikolai completes with a 14.23. That's 12.2 seconds behind. But for Josh McAleer, Mikko Heikkilä is faster than him. It was at its height 2.8 seconds faster. It dropped to 1.4, now it's 2.1 at 12 Ks. So Heikkilä could extend his advantage further over Josh.
Right, well done. Safely through that longest stage of the day, of the rally indeed. How was the second pass?
Safety through is not about me now. No, I crashed almost twice, and the last part I just back off because I just not understand what the car is doing, because we changed for the second pass, but In some places it feels better, but in some places I just was not able to turn, and I go straight for the high speed, and I, to be honest, a little bit scared now, so I have to back a little bit, not pushing, but in the beginning I tried to push. But anyway, I mean, I tried to have some fun on the stage.
Well done, you made it. Thank you.
So now another dinner to offer. If you can translate or tell me what exactly said Nicolas, because it was a bit messy sometimes. I didn't follow exactly what he was saying.
I've got to be honest, sometimes he does go off on a bit of a tangent, comes up. I enjoy it. I love listening to him at the stage end. Okay, we're on board with Gus Greensmith now. He's going to be the next driver to complete for us. He said the car was feeling a little bit better after the short run that we saw earlier on, that 5K stage just straight out of the tyre fitting zone. Oh, it's a little shake of the head here, though. Let's find out what he's going to say to PK when we get there. Now, Josh McAlean, James Fulton. See, from Gus, we'll come back to Josh.
Gus, well done, made it through. Second pass through here. How's this road surface faring up now, a few cars in? Sounds like there's quite a hard base out here.
It's quite a hard base. I was expecting maybe the edge of the road to break away a bit more like it. Didn't shake down, but no, it was okay.
Feeling good ahead of these last two, a bit different again?
We made a small change then, which seemed to stable the car down a little bit, but yeah, it's still got quite a bit more work to do.
Well done, on to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely, on to the next one. Now, look at the split here from Josh McAlean. That's a minute 17.9 down from Solberg. So we're going to have a look at a replay. Let's take a look at what happened with Josh McAlean.
The corner where... This is the corner of Munster.
It's exactly the same corner as Munster. They just...
Yeah, but losing only 1 minute there and
well,
going back again.
Let's have a look at the story, because there are the professional spectators to get them back onto their wheels. And a bit of brute force.
They are not so numerous, I would say. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. Okay.
But yeah, that is exactly the corner that Munster had his moment. He put his back wheels into that ditch, but he got away with it. Whereas, unfortunately for Josh, he didn't.
And he lost a lot of time, you know, just before starting again the engine. I don't know what was happening inside the cockpit. Maybe setting the seat belts properly before going.
But quite the story to tell. I mean, you know, we've seen images of that car from the outside while we were listening to an interview, and it didn't look as if there was a dent anywhere on it. But that is the story of Josh McAlean then, off at the same corner that Munster had a moment, but fully off onto his side. A real shame though, because he was right up in podium position, battling away.
It was exciting to follow for sure.
Yeah, it really was.
So you remember what to do when you roll like this? Makes at least when you get stuck into a ditch, immediately you have to push the OK button just to signal to significant to the FIA that you are fine, no injury.
That was a proper finish, there from Josh McAlean. Let's get the full story. I mean, look at this car. I mean, you would never say that has gone into a ditch at speed.
Yeah, and landed on the door. Landed on the door. Yeah.
Well, Josh, the people in my ear are telling me this car's been off the road, but I mean, I don't know. Luck of the Irish, it looks in pretty good nick. What's happened?
Yeah, I don't know, 3 quarters. the way through, there was it's a medium-speed corner, and we just lost the braking and we slid into the ditch on our side. So yeah, we had to wait till the people pushed us over, and yeah, it's a big shame because we were in the fight, and now we've lost over a minute. But here, we're lucky we're still here, and we continue fighting.
Everything feel like it's pointing in the right direction?
Yeah, we were back on it towards the end of the stage, which was good to do, and now we reset and go again.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Quite incredible, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't look as if there's a scratch on it, but yeah, quite a big drama in there for Josh. He's gutted because he was right in the mix of the battle. Stage classification-wise, then, Kalle Rovanperä has taken the stage win over Martin Sesks by 3.5 seconds. Ogier, third fastest through 3.6 seconds off the lead of the stage. Then Tanak, Katsuta to the top 5. Adrien Fourmeau is in 6th position. Alvin Evans is in 7th overall with Neuville and Gregoire Monster in 8th and 9th respectively. Lappi completes the top 10 through the stage. Let's take a look at the overall classifications for you. Rovanperã's advantage now over Sesks is 7.2 seconds. Ogier in 3rd position is 3.7 behind Sesks and 10.9 off the lead. Tanak is 8 seconds adrift of podium. Takamoto Katsuta is 3.7 behind Tanak, and then we've got Fourmeau in 6th, Evans 7th, Lappi in 8th, Munster is in 9th. Let's head out now then to Kiri and Chenny.
Well, welcome to almost at the start of Stage 7. We've moved down a bit from the start because we were hoping that we would see some of our rally cars coming past, which we probably will do in a short while. Stage about to start in about half an hour's time. So, Josh getting away with that quite nicely.
Yeah, he was very lucky there were fans there, though, Kiri, wasn't there? I mean, I think we can take another look at it. Basically, we were talking about this morning, classic Rally Poland. When you make a mistake, there are the ditches lining the side, and when you overstep the mark, you end up into the ditch. So here we go. Josh has simply outbraked himself. Same place Gregoire Munster got it wrong, and it just very innocuously ends up in that ditch.
That's a big word.
Thank you. And it's on its side, and he's going nowhere without the fans. And fortunately, the fans appeared out of nowhere, you know, just they did a Homer Simpson out of the bush and then pushed him up onto its side, and that was enough just to be able to get all four wheels to bite and get them back on the road again, to the point that Josh had actually started to undo his belts to get out, and then boom, you can see he's plugging his intercom there to get going again because the fans have come to his rescue. Minute 17 dropped, yes, really frustrating for him, going ever so well up until that point, but that could have been a lot worse, but that's what we're talking about. Get it wrong, you end up in a ditch here.
Yeah, well, some of our crew, in particular our cameraman, is Latvian, and he was saying that's what I was talking about the gravel. It's soft. So when you go over it, it's actually quite crunchy and so quite soft, so not too much damage. This is Greg Munster as well, going off at exactly the same corner. And as if perfect timing, we did get it right. They are coming past us here. Fantastic. Thierry Neuville, the first of the cars coming in behind us. Just on your screens, though, however, is Greg Munster. Now, this is exactly the same thing, so I'm guessing the gravel must be particularly slippy at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I just think he's just come in a little bit hot, Kiri. You know, the back of the car's got away, and he's not been able to get it turned in. And when you're carrying that much momentum, you just have a little grab of the handbrake to try and rotate the car, but it still continues to slide. He just buried the back of it in the ditch. But when you've got that much power, and that's the difference as well between a Rally 1 and a WRC 2 car, when you've got that much power, you can just bury the throttle in Rally 1. All four wheels will light up and it will drag you out of the troublesome situation you find yourself in. Gregoire Munster got away with it.
Josh still away with it, so hopefully we'll see him on this next stage. This next stage starting very shortly, but Julian Porter does love a refuel zone, and he's been out and about in that refuel zone again.
Out on the road sections that you see on the World Rally Championship, normal road sections that everyday traffic runs. What is different that for the World Rally cars in the World Rally Championship is they have their own refuel zones. We've seen them before in the past. We've seen them in the future. They'll be there all the time. Refueling zone, P1 racing fuel, as it says on the tin. Sustainable fossil-free fuel as well at that, in the mission to have cleaner sport. Here we've got two cars. we've got Adrian Formeau, Kalle Rovanperä. Adrian Formeau actually chatting to Kalle Rovanperä. They'll be discussing what that stage was like, what the tyre wear is like. Adrian will have a quick look at the tyres. Yeah, sneakily having a look at the tyres. Oh, he's obviously talking about he had some understeer. Kalle laughing a little bit. But yeah, Adrian just getting a little bit of an insight of what he thought of his stage to Rovanperä and what Rovanperä thought. But Kalle will just have a quick scan. I got a feeling he's going to have a quick look at the tyres on Formeau's car here. Yes, he is. He just has a little glance, a little look, has a bit of a sneaky peek at what the tyres are like from his rivals. After that stage, Formeau is topped up with fossil-free P1 racing fuel. He's on his way to the next loop of stages. There is another remote refuel out on the route around the final stage of the day to get them back to Liepāja. But these are all over the place. Now, in some of the cases with these, there is the FIA here with the stewards and the scrutineers. They might do a weighbridge. They might check the weight of the car. They might do a tyre scan. They might do a clothing check to make sure they have the right clothes and they are not cheating or going against the rules from when they left. What happens here when they get here? Joni Halttunen, he will get a note from the team of what he needs to go in that car, the number of litres. They work in litres, not in euros or pounds. They work in litres. As the two of them just chill out there. The car's been refueled. Joni Halttunen will give the refueler the number of litres he wants in that car. And the refueler puts in fossil-free P1 racing fuel into that Toyota Yaris. When he gets to the number that is required, then they uncouple the hose, they get a chitty from there, they get a receipt like you do at a petrol station, then they move forward. Kalle Rovanperä now having a bit of a look at Katsuta's tyres. He's got a smile on his face there. Katsuta's front splitter looking a little bit second-hand. Look at Kalle's laughing about something. I'm not sure what he's laughing about. Taka quite warm. Taka's having a look. But they comes out of Joni Halttunen. But yeah, a little bit of fun and a little bit of banter between them as they stop. So Joni Halttunen signing off his receipt. Yes, I've accepted we've had that much fuel. That will then get logged and charged back to Toyota at a later point during the weekend. But they don't pay for it here. It's all kind of itemized out at the end of the weekend and they pay for it at the end. Taka now having a bit of a look around at the tyres on the car. They can't sit in the car whilst the refuel is going on. They're not allowed to use their mobile phones either. Everything has to be totally safe and totally secure. Rovanperä, Joni Halttunen. Joni is basically, he's not getting back in the car. They might do something on the exit here. Not quite sure what they're going to do on the exit, but maybe they'll do something with their radiator blanking, or are they going to change tyres? I'm not sure whether they will change tyres here, but they get themselves sorted. Taka's had a look at his tyres, and yeah, Joni getting himself ready, and maybe put a bit of radiator blanking on that car for the refuel to be ending. But it's very, very noisy here. But that is a P1 fossil-free racing fuel update from this road section.
Thanks so much, Julian. As always, a fascinating insight into the refuelling zone. They've just done that, and then they'll be heading up here. We've got Oyt Tanak in the distance there. Elfyn Evans has gone past. I fear that they may have seen us two standing in the middle of the road with microphones and thought, you know what, there's probably a better place up there.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, to be honest, and you want to be by yourself as well. You know, a lot of times we do see the drivers all stacked up, and that's normally because there's nowhere else to be.
Plenty of space.
When there's loads of space like this, they want to be by themselves. Now, the good thing is you're not giving away any secrets to anybody else, but then when you're not around other people, you can't sort of wander off and go and see what everyone else is up to. So, yeah, catch-22 situation, but yeah, when you've got this amount of space to play with, you can sort of pick and choose really where you stop, Kiri.
I think there might be an Adrian Formeau just behind. I think there might be. I'm not entirely sure. It is quite far away. It looks quite close, but it is actually quite far away. We are in this vast expanse of just open countrysides here in Latvia, which is why we've got such fantastic stages as well, because there's so many different areas to be able to travel through. Right, let's talk tyre choice. Why not?
I mean, it's a mixed bag, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was really interesting to see what we were talking about in the tyre fitting zone. You can see a massive mixed bag. Predominantly, the predominant colour there is yellow, isn't it? And that's the soft tyre. Esa-Pekka Lappi going for 3 hards, Oyt Tanak going for 3 hards, but everyone else predominantly choosing the soft over the hard compound tyre, which I get, and that is because of the two stages that haven't been swept this afternoon, they'll be hoping for that soft tyre to switch on and work for them. And it'll also be a confidence thing. You know, they've been using the soft tyre all morning. They know exactly how it works, exactly how the car performs under the conditions of the soft tyre. So, yeah, bolt the same thing on, and you get the same kind of feedback from the car. But I think as well, the soft tyre just worked. It stood up to the conditions really well this morning, Kiri. You know, we heard Terenzio saying it was 150 degrees, and that's pretty hot. So when you look at the temperatures that they were working towards, you know, the soft tyre held up well.
But an interesting tyre choice all the same, because Terenzio, as he spoke to you, did say expect to see some of the hard. So we have seen that. It'll be interesting to see what happens through those last two stages. They're the new stages, but this stage, this is the new stage that we're coming into now. This is the new. The next one is the new stage. There's been so many stages today. We've just got 2 more to go, 7 and 8. So this, again, a massive challenge for Thierry. He's made up a couple of places now. He moved from 10th into 8th, so that's a better place to be, but it's still hard going out there.
Yeah, and he's going to struggle on the next 2. It's as simple as that, because they haven't been swept yet. So he's going out into the same conditions that he was faced with this morning. And we all saw what happened to him on the first run through Tukums, you know, when he had no grip at all to play with, and he lost a whole bunch of time. So he just needs to put that behind him, focus on the afternoon now, and hopefully he can get through.
Well, it's a bit of a light breather for you, just enough time to make a cup of coffee or tea, or whatever you fancy. It is Friday afternoon after all, and we will be back with the action in a matter of 10 minutes or so. So make sure you join us then, because these 2 stages are going to present a whole lot of new challenges. See you in a sec.
competed on Rally Liepaja previously, but not all of the stage.
And once again, we will have many junctions, strawberries, and all those anti-cut poles. This is not a surprise anymore.
No, it was one right up close and personal then, just as you said it. But an interesting afternoon out there. The first interesting kind of factor was the tyre choice from our drivers heading out onto the to the loop stages. The hard compound has come into play this afternoon for some of the crews. And for Thierry Neuville, he's gone with the 3-and-3 package, hasn't he? 3 softs, 3 hard compounds for the afternoon stages.
This is you cannot be wrong package, you know?
Yeah. I think we need to relabel it as that. Did he? No, I'm lying, sorry. Neuville went with a 4 soft, 2 hard. Lappy and Tanak went with a 3-and-3. Apologies. But yeah, I think that's what we should rename that option.
The YCBW, you cannot be wrong package.
So we don't have exactly what Neuville has on the car for this stage, but we do for Elvin Evans. He's got 1 hard compound on the front right and the rest soft compound for Elvin, but we don't have the tyre scans for Thierry. But yeah, an interesting array. And we see how it all plays out as an entire loop with regard to that tyre choice. We've got drivers wanting to make a difference out there in terms of, you know, having a better road position for tomorrow. Thierry being one of those drivers. Currently, after stage 6, which we've just come out of, the 27-kilometre stage, almost 28 Ks, Thierry is in 10th position overall. But he is only 2/10 behind Munster. So even getting one better position on the road tomorrow would be advantageous for him. However, it's going to be difficult still because he's sweeping these 2 clear tonight.
Yeah. I can tell you this is really a horrible position. Okay, people will say, yeah, what is complaining about? You are first on the roads. It means that you are first on the championship, so don't complain. But this is difficult to drive in those conditions because you don't have any traction, you don't have any grip, and you know that you're going to lose so much time at the end of the first day.
He's just too hot there.
He knew that he would miss it.
Yeah, you could hear it with the voice. He knew he was going to miss that corner.
And then I was explaining that it was exactly that. You cannot brake late, you cannot enjoy yourself, you know, with big brakes, with big load on the car. You have to be precise and wait and be patient everywhere. And you will pay the price on the Friday. It means that on the Saturday you will again start first on the roads, meaning that you will not score big points on the Friday, Saturday, meaning that on the Sunday you have almost no chance either to score some big points.
I did see a quote from him this week. I think it was given to Belgian TV, saying that it would be a miracle to be on the podium here this weekend.
We have seen miracles by the past.
We have seen many miracles over the years in WRC, so just has to keep the faith. But yeah, I completely understand. I think everyone does when you look at, you know, the time loss, especially on that, the first pass of the long stage this morning. Let's just take a replay of that moment from Thierry Neuville. But like you said, you know, on the straight approaching it, he knew under braking he wasn't going to make the corner. You could already hear his voice just doing the whole before we even got to that corner. He knew he wasn't going to be able to slow down enough in time.
It's funny, this is not a big mistake at all, you know, this is just a question of braking maybe 5 or 6 meters too late.
Okay, Oitanak underway. A reminder that he is in 4th position. 8 seconds adrift of podium. He's got Takakatsu to 3.7 seconds behind him.
And you were mentioning the fact that Thierry could gain a place for tomorrow. That would be important. It's always
maybe
one place, few points maybe available more, but also for the co-driver, not being first on the roads is kind of a relief. Because when you will arrive at the start controls, the marshals will be already awake, I would say. When you're first on the road, sometimes you face some situations that are really weird.
Really?
It happened to me to arrive at the time control without any marshal there, you know, because the 0 car was 10 minutes before, and I once for coffee or whatever, and I arrived and said, push the horn, please, said I need someone to check in my time card. Or, you know, this is, the first time that a competitive car arrives and they don't know already how to fill in the time card and stuff like this, and it's harder for you. Or if there is an accident or a mistake on the road book, this is the first on the road that will experiment it, and you're under stress because you need to report it to your team or to the FIA or the organizer. All the other ones will just follow the leader, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'd never really thought of it in that way before, but yeah, a little bit, well, way more stress.
Yeah, I did.
A lot, for many, many years. Okay, we're on board with Elfyn Evans right now. Again, you know, we're seeing tight gaps in time within the top 10. Elfyn Evans is 2.2 seconds behind Formo. Formo has done a good job of extending his advantage over Elfyn this afternoon, but that's still a small amount of time.
Oh, that's a fast section here, I can tell you. Wow. It's a bit blind, you know, you have this crest. You need to throw the car just before the corner.
Are you frustrated that you can't hear what they're saying, Gilles?
Yes, a bit actually, because we have plenty of
Me
nice
too.
emotions or information.
I know. But yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. That Hyundai, Toyota, let us hear them. They're only saying the ooh la las, but we'd like to hear it.
Jerry, what exactly is this like section of stage you did before today? Sections are new. We didn't you have quite a moment in there as well?
Yeah? No, I don't think so. We're sometimes a bit late on the brakes, but otherwise, yeah, we had a good one. It's a really cool stage, but yeah, for the rest, yeah, nothing to add. We had a really good stage. I was having fun in terms of the flow and the car, so that's at least something positive.
I guess some things look a bit more dramatic on the onboards.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it wasn't quite a moment. It was just under braking. He slid a little. But yeah, maybe our reaction was a bit bigger.
But I must say that I like this profile more than the previous stage, because here you have this green grass and some open areas sometimes, and the flow is really, really cool. The last section before the finish line is really amazing, and we have seen some spectators zones there. and you will pay attention to those last corners over the crest, his left and right. And you will try to imagine at which moment you need to put the impulse on the steering wheel to throw the car into the corner.
Like you see Tanak's splits looking good here against Elfyn Evans and against Neuville. Tanak just 0.2 of a second up on Elfyn. It's pretty tight between them. 2.6 up on Neuville, and this is at the 8.9k marker.
For example, this is here. No. Yeah, this was here.
So he completes 4.2 seconds up on Neuville. It's an 8.31 for Elfyn Evans.
Elfyn, 4.2 quicker. It's all about trying to make your way up the leaderboard for the road position tomorrow. But how did you feel through that?
Yeah, it'd be difficult, I think, with the conditions we have. But anyway, we keep trying.
Are you on the limit? Is there more?
Sure, we're pushing. There's always more, isn't there? You know, but just trying to be clean with it in these fast stages also is important. So let's see.
Tell you who is, on it right now. You can see the times coming in. Sébastien Ogier is the fastest man within the stage right now. He's 2.7 seconds up on Tanak at the second split point. See what it is up at 8.9Ks, but this is looking like a good run. Obviously, Ogier keen to target Sesks. There's only 3.7 seconds between them. Ogier in that third position overall right now. He's 10.9 seconds off the lead. Got Formo, who's into the stage. You're waiting for Rob and Pera to get underway. A good third split point for him then, 3.2 seconds up on Tanak. Tanak was 8 seconds behind Seb heading into this stage. So not a massive amount of time between them. But Seb looks as if he's really going to extend that advantage out. Should be double figures if he continues at this pace. It will be double figures.
At least he feels, it seems that he feels good on the car and on the stage. His position on the road is the one where you can to really feel the difference thanks to the line created by the first part of him.
And you need to take advantage of that, don't you? The cleaner the line gets, the further back the drivers take full advantage of having that little bit more grip than the rest. 8:30.2 is the fastest time on the board so far from Tanak.
Quick is through by 0.8 of a second. Seb seems to be flying a little bit behind you there. What did you make of this one?
Yeah, lost the brakes in the stage, so yeah, I don't know, very soft in some reason.
How early on did you lose them?
Huh?
How early on did you lose them?
Somewhere in the first part or middle, but...
Well, there we go. That's the reason that, we noted when he crossed the flying finish, he was kind of looking down into the footwell.
Yes, probably he was looking if there is a leak in the reservoir that is on his left foot.
Yeah, I've got quite a few Estonian people messaging me saying what he said when he crossed the flying finish was, which I lost the brakes. So thank you for all the translations that just came fluttering in. Now everyone's got their own little battles right now within the top 10. Adrian Formose is with Elvin Evans and Takamoto Katsuta. Obviously Formo is a better position on the road than Elvin right now. And Taka a bit further back still. He hasn't started the stage yet. Formo is faster than Elvin by 0.8 of a second at 6Ks. And a reminder that Formo is 2.2 ahead of Evans. He's 4.7 adrift of Taka. What has been the, putting you on the spot now, what has been the French media response to Formo this season and how they view him in comparison to, you know, the past few years? Because it's fair to say he had a bit of a tough year before he went into Rally 2, did the British Championship, won the British Championship, and came back this year to great success. What's the French media chatting about? That's a brilliant time on the board, by the way.
Well, Adrian is working on his physical training, on his pace, on his skills during the rallies, but he's also working on his media appearances. And yes, I know that he had some good positive vibes, let's say, and he's doing the right thing in terms of sports to continue like this.
Ogier fastest then.
So that's a great time through there, quickest through by almost 5 seconds. Did it feel good as well?
It feels okay, but I know that it's coming faster behind. Still, half of the stage is fresh and cleaning, so I try my best.
With 120K stage to go, how are you feeling about the tyre choice?
It's good. The Calais choice is also okay. Let's see tonight.
Now back with Formo. And we have our rally leaders into the stage, not as quick as Ogier, but not far off the pace. 9/10 down at the second split point. 2 hard compound tyres on the front, again, full caliber of Impera, and softs at the rear. Still love the angle of this camera. It's my favourite, one of my favourite. Bumper cam.
When I play video games, I pick up this one.
It is the best one. just a second behind the time of Ogier for Adrian Fourmeau, extending that advantage over Elvin Evans now to 6.9 seconds.
Right sharp and 8 left block, 50 over fifth, brake 8 left sharp in and short 4 right plus, and 8 left block over exit 60.
Adrian, that's a great time, extending your advantage to Elvin by another almost 5 seconds. Are you pushing quite hard now to catch Taka?
I'm trying to catch Tanak and Taka because now we are the advantage for the first pass in the stages. So I want to gain position for tomorrow. So my goal is the 2 cars ahead now.
Good luck.
Thank you.
That is a big target. Considering that coming into this stage he was 4.7 seconds behind Taka, and then there's another 3.7 up to Tanak.
Yeah, with the brakes issues that Tanak is facing, that was to push, you know, and each second that you can gain there and there, maybe at the end of the day you don't know what happened with the other guys, and if they are unlucky, you will be.
For Robin Pera, though, first victim for him, he wants Taka, but Taka is faster than him in the stage. Only about 0.3 of a second at the second split point.
Sharp, very narrow top. And left block, 50. Caution, 7 left sharp block and stop. Great lead is 2 right block. And 5 left block, okay. 60. Block, short 4 left right.
Speed so high in these sectors. It's the countdown to Ogier's time. Let's see what it's going to be from our rally leaders, Kalle Rovanperä, Jone Halttunen, 3 seconds faster. So that pushes their advantage over Ogier to 13.9 seconds. Remember, Sesks is in the middle of them both. Kalle Rovanperä leading the rally, Sesks in second and Ogier in third heading into this stage. Still waiting for Gregoire Munster and Martins Sesks to get underway.
Kalle, it's a great time, quicker through by 3 seconds. How did you find it with new parts, but also the used parts in there?
Yeah, quite okay. Definitely not so easy when you go on the fresh road and you have some parts on the car, so not the easiest stage, but it was quite clean. I could have done a bit better job, but that's what we did now, so all okay.
To Tanak, to Fourmeau on the splits. Taka's 1.6 seconds faster at 11 kilometers over Tanak. Slower than Fourmeau now by 0.8 at the same point. So Taka was faster than Fourmeau first 2 splits and drops a little bit of time.
we can see also that the Latvia has less and less front lips on the bumper. Of course, it doesn't help for the aero. I used to say that during Rally Poland in 2017, I think it was the last edition.
Yep.
I did. We had those flaps in the boot also. We had some spare flaps to repair them because it had such a big influence on the behavior of the car, and it weighs almost nothing, let's say, because this is carbon parts. That we did bring some spare ones in the boot with Seb, and we used it actually. But here, this is greatly part of the
now.
bumper.
This is interesting because Taka's just completed, and remember he was up on 4-0 on the first sector stage. He started to lose time. He's actually lost 3.1 seconds to 4-0 at the end of the stage. So Adrian 4-0 is only 1.6 seconds behind Taka now. He was the first objective for him, and then he was aiming for Tanak. But one stage to catch Taka on.
20 Ks to gain 2 places.
Those tyres, the soft tyres looking really worn. You've lost 3.1 to 4-0 in there. What was it like?
Yeah, it's I had to pretty much take care of the tyres. Yeah, my tyres are really, really bad, so it was not so good. But yeah, next one, we have at least some tyres left, so let's see.
Okay, we will see on the next one. It is going to be the final stage of the day, stage 8 overall, Talsi. I think Esa-Pekka is kind of looking forward. I'm sure he's still enjoying the stages out there, even though the times aren't what he was like. He was frustrated this morning, but I'm sure he's looking forward to getting back to service later on tonight and having a chat with the engineers and seeing if they can help him. He said earlier on, though, that maybe it's him. He was saying maybe it's not. You know, it's in between the seat and the steering wheel that the issue is, because he is quite tough on himself.
Well, I hope that Yannick Farm will hear this quote, this sentence, and he might propose to the engineer and the team to take the place of his Mr. Lappi for tomorrow, to see if the things are different.
Fingers crossed, Lappi will come out tomorrow bit of with a different perspective on things. Let's see what will be achieved at service later.
We see some kind of tape on the front, on the front bumper of Munster.
Stage done for EP and Janne. It's 10.4 seconds off the pace of Rovanperä. Let's head out to Martin Sesks now. It's only a tenth of a second off the pace of Ogier at the opening split point. There's EP. Let's cross that to Molly, who's at the stop control for us. Now we're missing the the light is still there. I think it's just become dislodged.
EP, what's the story to tell from in here?
No story.
Problem still between the steering wheel and the seat?
Yeah, looks like.
What can you do about that, though? There's still a couple of days to go here.
Nothing. I'm trying all the time. I'm trying to push harder. I'm doing then mistakes. I don't get the grip that I tried to push harder. So I the moment. I'm fully lost.
Yeah, that's not an easy situation because this is a rally where it will be fast, and with this kind of profile during 3 days, sometimes you can say, okay, tomorrow it will be more technical, twisty, I can be a bit more easy and comfortable or efficient, but there it's fast everywhere, and like I was saying, it's going really fast, and if you miss one corner, you pay the price very quickly, so he cannot do better than what he's doing now.
Now we see up at the next split point, Sesks ahead on the splits. He was joking earlier on when he was asked about, you know, how much you know of these stages, and part of this is already used earlier. And he said, well, everyone knows that part now, but he does have a bit of familiarity with the final stage as well, Talsi. Great job out there so far with Sesks. Let's take a look at Gregoire Munster. He was trying to fend off Thierry Neuville. There's only 0.2 of a second between them. And Munster's a good 4.4 seconds up on Thierry final split point. It's a good time. His fifth fastest through there. 7.8 seconds off the pace of Rovanperä. Gregoire Munster now ahead of Neuville by 5.3 seconds, with one more stage to go today.
Greg, you've done a good job in there, extending your advantage to Neuville by over 5 seconds. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was a better run through here, also faster than Esa-Pekka, so yeah, it's going better.
What was it like for you combining these new sections with the sections from earlier today?
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting because you really need to adapt to the grip that's available, but also when you just finish that section of the second pass, you have a feeling of confidence, and then when you go again onto the new one, you have to be a bit careful again, but yeah, good run.
Yeah, and that's the issue, isn't it, with the partly swept sections of stage, but then the fresh ones. So as he said, you gain a bit of confidence and then lose it instantly. So we're up and down on the splits here between whether we're faster, whether we're slower. Over Rovanperä, this is with Martin Sesks, who we're watching now, the last of our Rally 1 cars to complete. You can see the predictor there based on the current split point as to what it would be overall between them. Continues to change with every split because Sesks is now 1.3 slower than Rovanperä, meaning it would be 8.5 seconds Rovanperä would have as a lead over Sesks. We're just into the red here as we cross the line, 1.7 seconds slower than Rovanperä for Martin Sesks. So it's 8.9 seconds off the lead for him now. And Ogier is 5 seconds behind him. So Sesks 1.3 faster than Ogier within that stage. 13.9 seconds in total separate our top three drivers. And we'll be hearing from Martins very shortly with Molly while we watch Sami Pyrie here in WRC2.
Martins, another good stage, 1.7.
I already know when I'm coming in, you're smiling. That's always, I know that's a good stage.
It is a good stage. 1.7 down on Kalle. What can you tell us?
Well, it was okay. Still, I made few mistakes. I know where, but mostly it was quite clean. But yeah. Kalle is fast. Kalle has done these stages as well, as much as me, or maybe not as much, but he's done decent time too.
So what sort of mistakes are we talking about?
What, sorry?
What sort of mistakes are we talking about?
I approached, we had the new section with the chicane. Probably there lost something and some small places as well.
Because you were fastest on the 3 first splits.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, let's switch our attention to WRC2. We saw a bit of a change around on the previous stage because Sami Pyrie is now into 3rd position. Josh McAlean slid off the stage and went onto his side in the car. Crew were okay and they managed to continue on with the might of the spectators, getting the car back onto all 4 wheels. But he does drop down the standings, Josh, down to 9th overall. So the 1, 2, 3 in WRC2 right now, Solberg leads over Häkkilä by 26.4 seconds. Pyrie is 40 seconds off the lead, 14.4 behind Mikko Häkkilä. Another Finn, Emil Lindholm, is 22.3 outside of podium.
Small gesture from his co-driver. Like you did your best. Good job.
Good job.
Nothing to regret.
Encouragement.
Yep.
Encouragement taps. It's an 8:54.2.
And I think uniform could give a big hug to Latvia also to give some encouragement. And
I think he needs it.
Sami, once again we see Oliver a couple of seconds quicker on the split, but how did you manage in this one?
Yeah, I mean it feels fine, and I'm trying to push, but same story all over again. So.
Are you disappointed when I tell you that he's a couple of seconds quicker?
Yeah, but yeah. I'm trying my best, and okay, one more stage still today to do, but yeah, okay, it is what it is.
A phrase we hear quite often. It is what it is. In many situations, that phrase works, and I think for Sami Pyrie, like I said, get that stage over and done with tonight. Have a little bit of a reset ahead of tomorrow's stages.
we should make a compilation of the sentences, the quotes that we hear the most often. I have in mind, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes the drivers,
to be honest, quite okay.
Tomorrow is another day.
Yeah, we definitely should make a list of them. Get you a t-shirt with some of them on as well. Branch out into merchandising, Gracia.
It went into the hairpin right. I thought it. And at least we're done with it now.
Mystery as to what they were talking about there. 8:53.1 is the time for Oliver Solberg.
Oliver, quicker than Sami by 1.1. How did you find it on these new and used sections of state?
It's a cool stage, but I'm trying to be very clever with my tires. If it works, I don't know, but right now my front left is absolutely gone. It went about 6K from the end. and it's all about the last one, that's why. So I thought the fronts can be what they are now, and then I just wait till it's gone. And it went quite early actually, so it's okay.
Правый 8, ровно и тормоз. 160, ретардер слева, 2 плюс 2. 30.
They're on board with Nikolai and Andres. It's a little messy through that sector.
Левее. 180. Правый 8, правее. Налевый 9.
As you can see from the split, they're 6.2 down from Solberg. I'm not seeing anyone actually faster than Solberg at the moment on the stage. Waiting for the first times to come in from Hageler.
Ровно прыжок тонко. И левый 8. 120. Левый 8 минус на ровно 80. Правый 9 на ровно. Сразу правый 8, да.
What is Nikolai going to chat about this time around? That's the question. What is Nikolai going to chat about this time? Because you were a bit confused at the last stage.
Yeah, so let's be ready.
We're primed, Nikolai. What are you going to say to us?
I was watching the tablet of his co-driver, and I had one answer from Yannick Roche saying, no, the dust is not an issue. I've been reading my piston very well in Kenya, so find another argument, please.
I know. Grass is intrigued by the tablet.
Nikolai, giving yourself a little bit of a clean there. Second to last stage, how was it?
It was okay. We are with the 5 tires, and now I need to manage also to finish the day, because I didn't want to take the 2 spares. No option for us. So yeah, the stage nice. I like the stage. The last part that we drove a long time ago in the opposite direction. So have some good memories from the past during the driving.
Well, there we go. Pretty straightforward. Peter Mackay just messaging in, he's our stage end reporter in ERC, says the rally starts tomorrow. From what the drivers say on super special stages on a Friday night normally, the rally starts tomorrow. That's another one to add to your list of driver phrases which are frequent at stage ends.
The guys behind will go faster. That was also one of the sentences.
It'll be quicker behind, yeah, always, always. Now, it's just been quiet just in case he said anything there, but he didn't.
Funny-looking green bug, Latvian bug on your lap. Probably bringing you a little bit of luck. 6 seconds down, what was it like?
Rubbish, but this time not necessarily. Car pace notes were crap in there, so yeah, I think I lost all my time at the beginning, but here we go.
Yeah, so not happy with his notes in there. I'm fascinated by the green bug that's been on board though. Enjoying the ride. Now, Josh McAlean, you look around his car later on tonight at service, or even look at it now and think, there's no way that car has been on its side. It doesn't seem to be a scratch to it. It's a little bit dirty, a little bit of a dent here.
I would like to have an onboard cameras on the team structure, you know? The moment he rolls, everyone is almost crying, and the moment he is leaving the ditch, nothing to change, even not a rear view mirror.
He was pretty lucky though, wasn't he, that there were spectators around to be able to get him back onto all 4 wheels.
many times we had the help of the co-drivers during our career to get out of the ditch. It was especially in Sweden where we had a rope fitted in the boot of the car where everyone could pull us out of the ditch.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a disappointed Josh. We obviously spoke to him at the end of the previous stage where he did have that mistake happen. But, you know, I think they can consider themselves lucky to be here right now. They could still be on their side in that ditch if it wasn't for those spectators.
Josh, it certainly doesn't look like the car has been on its side on the previous stage, and I guess you feel a bit lucky that you're actually here right now, and a bit of praise to the Latvian fans?
Yeah, it's a big thanks to them because we were on our side and I was actually getting out and they shouted to stay in, so yeah, thanks to them, whoever they are, and yeah, we're still here, so the times are back to where they are, and yeah, it's a big shame because we were in a good fight, but yeah, let's fight our way back up.
And all is good technically with the car?
Yeah, the car's fine. It's maybe a credit to Skoda for how they built them.
Yeah, nice words there from Josh McAlean. Credit to the team, credit to Skoda for how tough they've built that car. Let's take a look at the stage classification now then, with Rovanperä fastest through, 8:22.3. Sesks 1.7 seconds behind that time. Then Ogier was third fastest. Then Formeau, Katsuta, Munster, Tanak, Evans, Lappi and Neuville. That's the top 10 through the stage, with Solberg, the fastest WRC2 driver out there. Overall, Rovanperä's advantage is now 8.9 seconds over Sesks, with Sebastian Ogier in third position overall. 5 seconds adrift of Sesks, 13.9 seconds adrift of the lead. Tanak is in fourth position, then Takamoto Katsuta is fifth, just 2.9 seconds behind Tanak. Adrian Formeau's only 1.6 seconds behind Taka. So it's all nice and close between those drivers, with one more stage to go today. Remember, and that's the way things stand after 7 stages out of a total of 20 here in Latvia. Okay, we are heading straight into the next stage now then. And that is our final stage of the day. We are heading into Talsi. Now, you can see there's quite a few things to look out for in here. We've got a succession of 4 jumps together, which it'll be, I'm sure, epic for the spectators to watch. And it's going to be a great stage to round off the day, certainly for all these positions that we're looking at. You know, road position is key tomorrow. And for many of the drivers, well, for all of the drivers, not many of them, all of them do not want to be anywhere near the front of the road tomorrow. So they've got a battle to be as far back as they possibly can. And we're going to see those battles play out in front of us right now. Let's take a look at the stage analysis then. We have a mixture of normal gravel, softer gravel, and quite a stretch of tarmac within this stage as well. You can see the tyre wear is fairly high within this one. Now, as I speak, Julian Ingrassia to my right-hand side in the car, in commentary here, has got the road book open and he's having a look at all the details of this stage.
Yes, the 2 first kilometers are going to be interesting, let's say, to watch, because it will be on tarmac through the villages, and we will have a lot of almost artificial elements and chicanes. So let's enjoy. It's going to slide, and we will have to be precise not to destroy too much the tires.
At least he isn't sweeping gravel at this point. We talked about the sensation, though, of you know, the different ways around. So we've got a gravel setup, gravel tyres here on tarmac, which, yeah, can be very, very slippy out there, can feel odd. But you mentioned earlier Rally Alsace, which was a great event, but had gravel sectors on what was a predominantly tarmac event. So you had tarmac tyres on gravel, which felt absolutely awful.
At least the first years. Then they removed those sections. But as long as it was not raining, I would say that the grip was not that bad and we didn't have any punctures. But yeah, it was not the best idea for sure. For sure.
Now you can see it is the cross pattern of compounds with hard and soft for Thierry on this final stage. He's got quite a job to do here if he doesn't want to be first on the road out there tomorrow, because yeah, I mean, Gregoire did a perfect job in the previous stage of extending his advantage over him to 5.3 seconds. You know, it's only a 20k stage.
Yes, but from what we have seen so far, I don't see how Neville could make a very strong performance here to catch back, to keep Munster behind.
It's going to be impossible, isn't it?
Even though he had almost 3 kilometers of tarmac right now, still he will have 17 Ks to sweep the road once again, and Munster has the best position on the road, except Sesks. Okay,
yeah, apart from Sesks, who has the absolute optimum position on the road. I guess for Munster, he just needs to keep it straight and true in here and not make a mistake and open the door for Thierry stealing that position. 5.3 seconds between them then, heading into the final stage of the day. There's still quite a distance there on the other coastline, on the other side of Latvia from where we are right now, the northeastern sector above Riga, up in the Talsi region. Have to make their way all the way back here to Liepāja. It's a long
160 kilometers to come back here, and I can tell you that after such a day, and yesterday they were in Riga, they stepped in Riga, it asks some organization, some logistic, and of course it takes some energy to the crews. I can tell you that those 160 Ks without even a small sandwich to eat in the car will be long. Discover a bit better this tarmac section, some chicanes and artificial roundabouts, let's say. That's difficult to recce, because during the recce's, of course, we have a lot of people coming in front of us. We cannot take all the lines like we will wish, and we have to respect the speed limits of the village. That might be probably 30 or 50 kilometers per hour maximum.
Back out with Thierry Neuville now. He was very much into the gravel after that tarmac sector to start the stage. Facing potentially another day tomorrow of being first on the road here in Latvia.
Yes, not gaining only one place has not been so often, I think. We didn't see that so often. Huh?
No.
Usually, at least you gain 1, 2, 3 places. You are still in a bad position, but you're not first again on the road.
No, but I think with the amount of gravel out there, certainly on the long stage, that's where it kind of all unraveled. Plus, then 2 stages where, yeah, okay, we've seen part of the previous stage used before, but he's still sweeping the majority of the rest of it, and then this completely new.
He disappears in the middle of the trees there.
Look at this from the edge. Straight road ahead through the trees. Slow down for the chicane, which needs to break up, but that will be breakneck speed otherwise, wouldn't it? My goodness. It's just a straight piece of road.
And turn right soon.
Tanak underway now on this tarmac section, and after stage 7, he's still in that 4th position overall, but things have got a little bit closer behind. Taka Katsuta just 2.9 seconds off the pace of Tanak, and Formo just a further 1.6 back from Katsuta. Formo said to us at the end of, it was stage 6, wasn't it, at the end of Tukums, that he wanted to take 2 places this afternoon. He's got within shouting distance now of Katsuta.
We will follow the progression of Tanak because he was mentioning a brake issue at the end of last stage. So of course, in this case, you can bleed the brakes. If this is only that the issue, you can remove the air bubbles from the circuits. It asks a little bit of time, but this is really easy to accomplish, let's say. And we have normally in the car a small bottle of brake fluid that we can use to refill the reservoir. But this is once again all about time, you know, on the road section, if you are a bit too much in the rush or not.
Now, interestingly, so far on this stage, neither Elfyn Evans or Ott Tanak are as quick as Neuville.
Yes. We had a lot of tarmac so far, but still, it doesn't explain everything.
Yeah. I mean, we're up at, well, 5.5 Ks into the stage. And, okay, Elfyn Evans was a bit slower in the previous split. He was 3 seconds down there, but he's taken it back now to just 2 seconds down. We'll see how it progresses. But certainly that early part of the stage, both Elfyn Evans and Ott Tanak slower than Neuville.
You know, I was watching the hand of Tanak ready to pull the handbrake in this junction, just to be sure that he will turn the car. I'm wondering how we will educate the new generations of rally drivers, because all the new cars don't have any more some handbrakes, you know, this electronic ones. This is a skip that will disappear.
Yeah, Elfyn Evans bringing it back further in time now, just to 1.4 seconds slower than Neuville, up at 8.7 now that we're full on into the gravel with Neuville, because he's up at the penultimate split point. It's not too far for him to go here on the final stage of the day. Tyre choice-wise for Thierry Neuville, it's the soft on the front left and back right, and hard compound Pirelli tyre on the front right and back left. So the cross pattern. For Elfyn Evans, he's got the one hard compound tyre on the front right, the rest are soft, and Ogier's gone for the soft compound tyre right the way around the car. Still, we've got, you know, Ogier, again, slower at the opening split than Neuville. Tanak is now within 0.3 of Neuville, up at 5.5 Ks, and Elfyn's dropped a little bit of time to Thierry. 2.2 seconds slower at 13 Ks.
we know that the conditions on the ground can change very quickly from an area to another. I mean, it's a question of a few kilometers away from there. It was very slippery. Maybe here it's a bit less. Still, we see a lot of dust, and we can see even from the hilly view, we can see the gravel and the dust, dirt on the roads. We have seen many corners like this one where David is driving really well. He's using all the width of the roads, no mistakes, a good flow. So he's doing the job, but it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little. After seeing that, I'm sure he will as well find it weird when he gets to stage end. Okay, there's a smash of the hand on the wheel there. Well, he's not a happy guy. We do have one split now faster than him. It is Tanak, but only by 2/10 at 8Ks. But for the rest, we're waiting for the final split to come in from Elvin. But Elvin's 2.4 slower up at 14Ks. We're waiting for the 18K split to drop in. PK's at the stage end for us. Let's find out what Neuville's got to say here then. It's the first time today we've seen a sea of red underneath them. Like I said, there's only one split right now, which is faster. A little bit of damage there to the front right sector of the car.
Thierry, that's been a really tough old day for you, but I've got to say you finished really strongly. Nobody's getting near you of the next gear cars. The last push in there to finish.
Yeah. Big push. I tried to catch at least one position, but yeah. I don't know what to say. Obviously, strategy to win a championship is not the same anymore. They change a lot rallying, and obviously now it seems like doing part season is much more fun and a bigger benefit for everything. So something to think about.
Oh, he's not a happy man at the end of the day, is he? Like you said, he did give it a bit of a push in there. He's trying to catch one position at least, and that is the position of Gregoire Munster out there that he's trying to get. I've said it before, it's 5.3 seconds. It's a bit of a tough ask, but we'll see how Gregoire does when he gets in. But that's a frustrated Neuville there, Julien.
Yes, and I must say that I understand what he's saying. You cannot fight against people that are behind you on the road in those conditions. And yes, this is a question mark. What we do about people that are doing some events in the year, should they start in the front of the field on gravel rally if they are not scoring points for the World Championship or not? I don't know. This is a question mark. Is it fair or not? All the manufacturers played this game at one point. Everyone did it.
Seen it, yeah.
So this is not unfair or fair for one or the other, but overall, should we make mandatory to do the World Championship, let's say, if you don't want to open the road on gravel? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big question. Yeah, we'll do complete slower here than Neuville. 1.1 seconds behind. But for Elvin, he'll be thinking about the whereabouts of Formeau that he's in relation to. I mean, there's still there's a big gap between them, as in 6.9 seconds on one stage. But
for sure, Neuville was saying this sentence not at the end of the right stage, because this is the one that he managed to do the best.
Yeah.
And probably will finish in front of many guys.
Thierry's had a bit of a push in there, a little bit slower, but he's a very frustrated man at the end of this long first day. For you, 7th place is looking like, is that the best you can manage, do you think, today with those conditions?
This stage was very, very difficult, probably the loosest of the lot, so very difficult. I didn't have a good run either, which doesn't help, so yeah, it's been a day like that, but let's see what we can do tomorrow. I guess it's not going to be a lot better, but let's see.
That's interesting from Melvin, because we didn't really hear much about the condition of the stage from Thierry, but he's saying he felt that was the loosest of the lot. Like the loosest stage out there in total today. Now we're going to find Oitanak, Martin Jolveoja. They are our next car to complete. They were faster than Neuville at one of the midpoint splits. Then they dropped some tenths again over the next three. They've picked it back up again now. The final split, they are 6 tenths faster. But you can see how close it is between our first three. We've got Ogier, Formeau and Rovanperä within the stage. Formeau, a good 2.9 up on Elvin at the third split point. See the countdown to Neuville's time. This will be faster, 1.4 seconds up.
And really difficult to try to give an explanation why Neuville has been so strong and
on
good
this
in
one.
on this one.
Oitanak wanted a good run here to remain ahead of Taka Katsuta. Taka got within 2.9 seconds of him at the end of the last stage, and Taka's only just got underway on this one, so we'll keep you up to date with his splits.
Quicker than Thierry in there. I'm assuming you got that brake issue sorted for this one, right?
Yeah, I managed to change the brakes on one side, but I didn't have time to do other side, so it was a little bit better.
What can you do about those three guys ahead of you tomorrow? Are they too far away, do you think?
Let's see where we end up on the road today. This one very loose, quite thick loose, so let's see how quickly it cleans, but it depends a lot of the road position, obviously.
Yeah, and that's what we're keeping an eye on right now, is that road position. Will Takamoto Katsuta be able to get ahead of Oitanak on this one? Tanak in fourth, remember, Katsuta in fifth. Good splits coming in from Adrian Formeau. He was hoping to make up 2 positions. Formeau is 2.2 up on Tanak at 11 kilometres. But the first split in for Taka. Taka's half a second faster than Tanak. But that's right at just 1.5 Ks into the stage, very early on. Lots to look out for here. Now, Sébastien Ogier starts his stage 5 seconds adrift of Cesks, 13.9 seconds adrift of the lead. Countdown to Tanak's time. The final split looked strong from Seb Ogier in comparison to Tanak. Yeah, he completes 4.3 seconds faster. So fastest through on Talsi so far, 11:38.1 from Seb. Looks happy at the end of the day. Sometimes his facial expression, you can really tell that he's happy or not, and then other times it's very difficult to read him.
I would say that from what we have seen since the beginning of this rally, Seb was really relaxed and happy to be here. No stress.
Yeah, yeah, like his interview this morning at the tyre fitting zone. Super relaxed.
Well done, 4.3 seconds quicker in there. How was that last stage?
Very slippery, so I unfortunately expect to lose a bit of time again from the guy behind, but we tried our best.
Wanted to ask you, Thierry's very frustrated, obviously there being first in the road. You've had almost 10 years of it doing the same thing. He's a bit frustrated though against you guys who are doing a part-time season. Can you sort of understand his frustration?
I mean, there's no comment on that. I know how it feels. It's really bad. It's terrible. Unfortunately, the sport is like that. I've been fighting for years to try to change that, and it doesn't, so that's the way it is.
Yeah, he can completely, like yourself, have an empathy with Neuville.
The thing is that you don't even enjoy what you are doing, because this is so, you don't have any grip, so this is like if you have pasta without bolognese, you know what I mean? It doesn't work.
Shocking thought there, Julien. Okay, let's have a look at Adrian Formeau. He's going to give it, he's told us he wanted to pass 2 positions this afternoon. Look at the splits coming through from him. He's 4.9 seconds up on Ott Tanak at the final split point. So he is staying true to his word here. This is an exceptional run from Formeau. Taka Katsuta is going to be a more difficult prospect though, because Taka is faster than him. Not by much, but at the start, first 3 splits are in, and he's 7/10 up on Formeau. Rovanperä is flying through the stage. Some amazing splits coming through from Kalle. You can see here the battle for 4th position as it stands right now. It goes to, well, sorry, I say the battle for 4th. It's the battle between him and Tanak, because Katsuta is sandwiched between them. But it would be Adrian ahead of Tanak. Wow. Fastest through so far, and Adrian Formeau moves ahead of Ott Tanak by 0.3 of a second.
Strong day from both of those guys we are watching now. No mistakes, a good pace, and increasing the pace even during the day.
Taka doing everything out there to try not to lose a position. Let's hear from Formeau. He's gained 1 place at least.
Well done. You set yourself that target. I know Taka's coming pretty quick behind, but you have got past Ott Tanak by a few tenths. Great finish to the day. Well done.
So are we ahead of Tanak?
Yeah, by 0.3 of a second. You've just done it. Well done.
Perfect. Thank you. I don't know about Taka, we'll see, but definitely I have no tire left on my car, so that was really demanding in that stage. Wow. It was just driving like ice in some places, so I was trying to beat the line. But I'm happy the aim for Tanak is done. We'll see with Taka.
Well done.
Fair play. That's a great run through there on the final stage. But like you said, it felt like ice in sectors in there. He has used his tyres and a little bit more, I think, to achieve that time. Now it's Taka's turn. Taka's 2 seconds up on Formeau, 11 Ks. And then we look at Rovanperä, the man who is just flying through the stage. Look at the splits here, come on!
He's just taking care about the famous sentence, the flying finish. He just want to keep this sentence there forever. speaking about the amount of pollution on the road previously, and everyone has been saying, yeah, there is a lot of pollution, so it can explain that until the force on the roads, let's say that we didn't see almost any difference in between the guys, and then after that it started to clean a little bit car after car, when usually it starts a bit earlier.
You can see on the stage wins at his advantage, Rovanperä with the most out there this weekend. We're waiting for Sesks to get underway, another 15 seconds before he starts the stage. And that is our rally leaders through. Kalle Rovanperä, Joona Halttunen, what a stage time from them. 7.2 seconds up on Formo, 7.7 up on Ogier to take their advantage over their Toyota teammate to over 21 seconds. 21.6 is the advantage. It's a heck of a run there from Rovanperä.
Kalle, I'd say that's getting the best out of your tyres. You've just beaten everyone by over 7 seconds, and your lead is now over 20. What a finish.
Yeah, it was the first days today where I felt inside the car that we were driving rally properly, so that was a nice stage. I think the time is good because the road is going to be cleaning so much, so yeah, quite good day. Not the perfect feeling inside the car, but yeah, no mistakes. We just went through the day with quite good plan, so yeah, let's see. I think Sesk will be really fast here. I think the road is getting so fast, so I think we did a good job.
Well done.
Yeah, let's see what Martin Sesk can do. That lead is, well, the advantage over Ogier is 21.6, but of course it's Sesk's in second position right now. He's underway on the stage, no splits coming through yet. Let's focus on Katsuta. We're watching him in regard to both Tanak and Formo. He's 1.9 faster than Formo at 14 Ks, 6.4 faster than Tanak. 8.9 faster than Tanak now at final split. 4 seconds faster than Formo final split point. Katsuta really is giving it a bit of a push hit, but they all are. And as they've all said, you know, the road is continuing to clean, but they're all battling for road position on this final stage right now to give them a good shot at tomorrow. Not far away from the flying finish now, but this is looking like a really strong run from Taka. We know it's going to be slower than Rovanperä. What we're keen to see is what it is in relation to Formo and Tanak. It's an 11:33.9. It means Taka Katsuta is ahead of Adrian Formo and Oit Tanak. Tanak drops behind them both in the overall classifications. So Taka's second fastest. Brilliant run from Katsuta. Puts Katsuta now essentially into fourth position, depending on what Sesks does here, of course.
That's a brilliant finish, and you've just jumped ahead of Oit Tanak. A little bit of damage in the back, right rear corner, though. Any stories to tell in there?
Many stories to tell, so maybe after that I can tell you everything, but not now. I need to go now.
But really important for your road position tomorrow. That's a great way, jumping up positions on ours.
Course, I decided to push this one to gain the position, so that worked well, and next to another challenging day tomorrow, so it's focused.
Yeah, it was definitely a big push in there, wasn't it? And a great run from Taka. Entertaining to watch.
I'm wondering, people behind the screen and hearing Taka saying, I decided to push on this one to gain some position. They might say, why didn't you do that on the other stages?
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
But that's not that easy.
No. Now we switch to Gregoire Munster, and we're looking at Munster in relation to Thierry Neuville. He was slower than Thierry on the opening two splits, so remember the start of the stage was on tarmac until we got into the gravel sector. Now he's 2.8 faster, up at 11 kilometres. He already had just over 5 seconds in hand on Thierry. And now 4.1 seconds faster, 13 Ks.
We could hear at the landing that it was a very tough one.
Now I switch to a driver who's struggled with confidence out there today. It is Esa-Pekka Lappi. You can see here the times. I don't know if there's anything else going on other than just wanting to get through this. We'll have a look around the car when it gets to the stop control.
It will be difficult to vote for the crew of the day, you know what I mean? Because everyone gave a lot in the end. I mean, Neville in front didn't know any mistake and kept pushing even though he knew that he needed a miracle. Ogier, Rovandera did their job and pushed as far as they could also. Of course, Cesks has been amazing, but Tanak didn't give up either. And what's happening?
Yeah, this, you know, we wanted to have a good look down. I mean, it was a lot of time to be losing. I know he's...
Oh, they thought that the finish line was earlier, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know, but it was a...
It could be.
Yeah, maybe. Let's find out with PK. There was a lot of chat in the car there. We'll chat with EP, then we come back to Cesks.
Front split has gone, 28 seconds have gone. What's happened in there?
I think it was broken already before.
Any other issues in there? It seemed like a lot of time lost for you know, such a relatively short mistake.
I don't know. All okay.
What was going on in the final sector?
Yeah, you cannot lie. We have seen something, Mr. Lappi.
Ah, you need to brush up on our Finnish skills. How many years have you been to Finland, Julian Gracia? You should know some Finnish by now. I'm putting you.
You really want to know the words I know in Finnish?
Probably not for this broadcast. Maybe all live after dark.
Luckily it's dark at 11 p.m.
Okay, let's talk about Martin Cesks out there today, shall we? Because we're watching his splits coming in now. These are in relation to Kalle Rovanperä. Because he's 5.7 seconds off the pace. What a day Cesks has had. The first full day of competition at home in Latvia. He's taken his first stage win and then followed it up immediately with another. He's in second position overall heading into the final stage of the day. It's quite some going from him. Okay. Gregoire Munster is not too far away from the flying finish. He's 7 seconds faster than Neuville at the final split point. There we go. Good time on the board to round out the day from him.
Yeah,
and there's a big smile.
Yeah.
He's happy with that.
Yeah, they were speaking about this, I guess, from this hard landing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because you could hear that Louis kind of gasp just a little bit. So confirmation then that Grégoire Munster extends his advantage over Neuville up to 13.1 seconds.
Greg, that's a great finish to today. I make that third fastest sprint. Crucially, you've extended your lead over Thierry Neuville. How did it go in there? It looked like a good rhythm.
Yeah, the crazy push in there. One or two times it was really on the limit. We have no hybrid since more than 2 stages, so I didn't want to tell it live just so the others didn't know. But yeah, happy we can go to the service and hopefully everything is back like normal tomorrow. And I think we're in front of Rebecca, so that's good.
Yeah, it's true. You know, in terms of position overall, EP becomes the unhappy one tomorrow. I mean, he's unhappy at the end of the day, but he actually was overall now 4.1 behind Thierry Neuville. And Grégoire Munster has 2 places in front of him, so it's Neuville and Lappy.
We didn't have any more information about the stages of tomorrow. It looks like it will be more or less the same conditions overall. Very fast, on-ticket poles, some chicanes time to time, many junctions also. Compared to a Sunday where, from what was saying Sabogier, it will be more technical.
Final sector now for Martins and for Renars. It's the countdown to Rovanpera's time, which was a epic time of 11:30.4. See what they factor into it. 6.8 seconds off the pace there. It is second position overall at the end of the day. Rovanpera, Sesks, Ogier. What a day this pair have had. How is he going to sleep tonight, knowing he's got another full-on day tomorrow, and hopefully he'll sleep well in the knowledge that they've had a good day out there. It's nice to see the fans there at the end. Nice round of applause for Martins. Let's hear from him with PK.
Martins, very well done. You are second at the end of the first day with a multi-world champion in front of you and behind you. Just sum up your thoughts right now.
This one was actually a nightmare. We had basically no tires left. We had 3 tires, which are okay. And I think we lost something on the rear wing as well, or?
That seems okay.
So it was just, I think that the tires are done because, yeah, it was quite hard to manage everything.
It's nice to have a few fans here as well. You've got to remember you're doing it for a whole nation. Is that you appreciate the joy you're giving to these people out there as well?
It's amazing. It's so emotional today and as well yesterday. And I think that next 2 days will be as well.
Well done. Thank
you. Yeah, I completely agree that they will be. They will be emotional days, but what a day. Scoring your first WRC stage win, that's pretty special. Following it up with another, and in second position overall, sandwiched between 2 world champions. Pretty good day at the office for Martin Sesks. Now, we switch to WRC2, and the battles that rage on there. We've got Sami Pajari He's doing a good job on this stage all day. He's been dropping big amounts of time to Solberg. It did get a bit better out there this afternoon, and now it's people in the red below Sami Pajari instead of being in the green. Has he found something on this going into this final stage? Solberg slower by 9/10 of a second at the penultimate split. And he completes 12:06.5, and a reminder that Sami Pajari is in third position right now in WRC2. He's 41.9 off Solberg's lead. Mikko Heikkilä is in second. He's 30 seconds behind Solberg. So, you know, Solberg doesn't have to push in any way out there now on this final stage.
No, but
because he's got a good advantage.
It looks like it was easy for him to get this pace today. He never said that he was really pushing hard and taking risks. So I would not be surprised that he's doing a great time again without pushing too hard.
Sami. Nice long stage there to finish. Pretty close with Oliver, just under a second, it looks like, to the last split I have. How was that last one for you?
I think it starts to get boring. I'm telling the same story every time, so I hope for tomorrow we can find some new story to tell, I think. But I mean, again, I was trying to push, and it felt good, and so not much to add.
I mean, you've been so quick the last couple of rallies. Has the pace of Oliver surprised you maybe today?
I think it's a shame to say, but I think they are one step more than they were, and we are one step down. So when the differences are so small that it's easily happening, like we are still not ages behind, but it feels like.
He did mention, of course, at the end of the previous stage that he'd clipped something and it had affected was it the front left? But there must have been a big rock in the line, maybe, from what they were just referencing there.